Well, here you have it, folks. Episode 16, the last episode in season 1 of Brutally Honest to WoW podcast. I just got done talking with Arsyn, Shadarek, and Harrek. These guys did a phenomenal job, as everyone always does. An absolute pleasure to have these three gentlemen sit down with me in what is the last episode of the season. So kick back, relax, enjoy the show. And man, we say it a bunch during the episode, but let me say it here right now from my heart. Enjoy the launch of Midnight. I'll be talking about season 2 at the end of the episode, so make sure you check that out. I'll talk about what's to come, and yeah, thanks for being here. Oh, and I forgot to talk about this during the episode. I want to say right now at the beginning, that way I'm not stringing you along. I'll be doing a giveaway for an epic edition of Midnight before early access, so if you want a chance to win that, I know you're probably watching this on YouTube, listening to it on Spotify, whatever, you need to be tuning into my live stream on Twitch or on YouTube on Wednesday, February, is it 25th? Let me double check. Yes, we'll be giving that away at approximately 2 p.m. Central. That's 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, an epic edition of Midnight. You gotta be there if you want to win it. So you've been told. Twitch.tv/BrutallStatic. You know the drill. All right, enjoy the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. We are, this is the season finale of Brutally Honest to WoW podcast. This is episode 16, and I'm joined today, what is it, 4 days? 4 days before early access, right? Holy moly.
Thursday.
I am joined by Arsyn, Shadarek, and Harrek, or Harreks, depending upon how you know him. Did I pronounce everyone's name correctly? Right?
Yep.
Okay.
Don't believe any other pronunciation of my name.
But we're going to be sitting down with you guys for these next couple of hours talking about World of Warcraft and Midnight. Who would have thought? Wait, am I okay, I am recording. Whew. I gave myself a mild heart attack there. You know, fun fact, this is the 16th episode. Like I said, the season finale. I have not forgotten to record once. So I haven't been like 5 minutes into an episode and had to restart. So everything's good. But guys, thanks for being here today. It's so weird knowing that this is the 16th episode. It's the season finale. Midnight's 4 days away. I swear I just sat down on episode 1. It felt like just a few weeks ago. And now here we are, man. Days away. But Arsyn, thanks for being here. Arsyn is a Mythic Plus.
Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, you're very welcome, dude. Specifically an Affliction Mythic Plus dude, right? Yeah. Would you consider yourself an expert at Affliction, Mr. 4100?
I don't consider myself an expert at anything, man. Yeah.
You're almost 4200 Raider.io, right?
I think it's like 4110 or something like that. I'm not
sure. I thought you were like 4190. My God. Anyway, the 4100 Raider.io score. Guide creator, full-time coffee enjoyer, and alleged cult leader on twitch.tv/Ars.
Allegedly. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
I swung by his stream last night, by the way, and this esteemed gentleman gifted me a sub to his own community, so that's very gracious of you, very generous.
Of course, man.
But
so he brought you into the alleged cult.
Yeah, right, allegedly. Right. The alleged, yes, of course.
It's all good. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine.
Well, thanks for being here, man. I said this before the show, and I want to go on record right now, and I've said this many times over many years. I used to main a Warlock, and people have asked me, Brutal, what's the definitive Warlock spec in your opinion? And it's always, and it always has been, and it always will be, Affliction for me. So nothing but love for Affliction Warlock gamers. But again, thanks for being here, man. It's so cool to have you sitting down with us today. We also have Shadarek, who I was mispronouncing his name until about 2 minutes ago, so you'll probably hear me emphasizing Shadarek multiple times throughout the show. You just started playing WoW in 2018. I say just, as if it's not. It hasn't been 8 years.
Yeah, no, I started right at the start of BFA, and then actually ended up on DH just because I joined a guild, and then the one Demon Hunter quit, and, need a raid buff. And that's how I started out, So you've been playing for, I can't believe 2018's been 8 years, but I have a 9-year-old kid who was born in 2016, so I guess it shouldn't be that big of a shock. But you've been playing since 2018, as I've established, and you are the Havoc Demon Hunter guide writer for Wowhead, correct? Yes.
My God, how did you fall into that trap?
That's a good question. So the previous guide writer for Havoc was Kibo, who I believe played Havoc for 1 or 2 tiers of Legion, and then was Warlock main that wrote the guide. Honestly, it wasn't the best one. The community did not like it.
You suck.
And then at some point,
I'm taking over.
Yeah, kind of. And then Kibo quit the game,
and still kept writing it for multiple patches where
Wow.
it got very shaky. And then Wowhead told him or asked him if he had a better replacement. And he asked me if I wanted to do it. So I took it over at that time, right at the end of Shadowlands. I've been doing it since then.
That's awesome, man. Well, people can find you on YouTube and Twitch at Shadarek, correct?
Correct.
Just as it's spelled under your webcam. Perfect. And then last but not least, fun fact about this guy. Number one, this is the first guest, if I'm remembering correctly, that is not live via webcam. So congratulations on achieving that first, Harrek. It's a pleasure to have you here. But this guy is a trendsetter over here. This guy is also he also happens to be in the guild that I'm trialing in, and I didn't know that prior to getting accepted last month and so on and so forth. But I was in the guild Discord, and then I saw Harrek pop up after having seen the video you released about a month or so ago, and I'm like, oh, I'm raiding with this guy. Now, here, I'm going to put you on the spot, Harrek. How much gold to make sure that you're prioritizing healing me instead of Sal in Midnight?
Smart. Really smart, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we need to talk about that in DMs. I cannot be saying that in public.
Right. This is recorded. He mentioned it like 4
Yeah,
times.
I need to cover my ass. Man.
All right,
Yeah.
that's fair. That's fair. Well, we'll talk about it off camera, of course. We're off stream. Sal, for those that don't know, of course, he's another hunter. He's an officer and unbalanced, and everyone's been so kind to me in the guild, and I'm looking forward to it. But anyway, Resto Shaman writer for Wowhead. So we've got 2 Wowhead guide writers here today. That's wild. Now, Harrek, you also run, I want to make sure I get this right, Spirit Bloom Pro Healer Guide website. Is that right?
Yes, you got it right.
Okay, and is that Evoker specific?
Yeah, well, it was, but I started writing it's a preservation evoker guide. I started writing during Dragonflight. I just wanted to write my guide, right? And the guide writers for preservation for both Wowhead and Icy Veins are just really good, and they've helped me a lot, and they taught me a lot. So I just wanted to contribute a little bit, so I did my own thing. And it kind of turned into a whole thing because people really like it, and I have my own style and all of that. And eventually, writing that turned into my intro to applying to Wowhead.
That's so cool, man. Well, congratulations on your recent success by making an awesome add-on for healers, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that more later. It's called Advanced Raid Frames, correct?
Yep, that's the name.
And real quick, give me just an elevator pitch. What is it? Why does it matter? Be brief, because again, we'll dig into it later. But what is Advanced Raid Frames? I guarantee you, most people that are listening probably haven't heard of it yet.
Okay, so as everyone knows, Midnight is adding a lot of restrictions to add-ons and stuff. And one of them is that buffs and auras are secret, so you cannot know what they are. One of the most important things that this break is that healers cannot track the buff they apply on the frames. However, I found a method that is not an exploit, that is not breaking secrets or anything, that actually lets you show your buffs whatever you want on your red frames.
Now, is it not an exploit, or is it truly no big deal?
It is truly not an exploit. Well,
okay,
we can dive into that later if you want, but it's
a
really not
solution.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's awesome, man. We're going to be showcasing that a little bit later, but let's go ahead and get this show on the road. We're going to be starting off with our first poll today. If you want to answer these polls, you can type in the command poll in Twitch chat. Also, don't forget, if you have any questions throughout the show, type in the command question followed by your question. We'll capture it, and we'll do our best to answer it throughout the episode. So right now, days before early access, what are you feeling most? We've got about 50% of people saying they're hyped. And I fall into that category. I'm feeling pretty good. It's not going to be I'm not going to sit here and say that it's probably, I'm probably the most hyped I've ever been. That might fall under the Legion category, but I'm feeling pretty good. What about you guys? Arsyn, I'll start with you. How excited are you? Are you hyped? Are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's gonna be fun, man. I mean, this is the first expansion since I've been doing content. For the 4-year anniversary was a couple weeks ago for me for streaming and creating everything. And this is the first time Affliction's actually gotten a substantial adjustment to the way our kit works and how we function. Now, I don't think we're in the perfect spot right now, but it's exciting to where we're headed, I think. And I think the expansion as a whole looks really fun, man. I'm actually really excited for season 1. I think season 1's gonna be great. So
yeah,
I think we're in that fun part of the expansion launch where keys aren't out yet and everybody's just kind of hanging out and having a good time, and then everything will get crazy in a month, right? So that's
time
fun,
level
sure.
12 or 13 different warlocks, right?
Nope, just one, and we just go hard on that one. Yeah.
Me too. I could never do world first stuff. I can't I can't
My guild's
maintain
not
that.
doing
Oh,
splits,
God.
so I'm not really worried about that. I'm still trialing in a guild right now, so I'm not worried about any of that stuff.
Oof. Well, yeah, that's good to hear. Shadarek, what about you, man? Where do you fall? Are you hyped? Are you kind of just like, yeah, I'm ready, no big deal? What do you feel?
I'd say I'm hyped. For me, the Mythic Plus season looks pretty good.
Yes.
Better than the last couple. I'm liking the look of the dungeons, and personally, I'm excited for a lot of like add-on removal in terms of competitive content and kind of like how I'd say that controls like the meta in Mythic Plus, where at the very highest end, it's shot caller, mass group AoE stops, and a lot of that's really been pulled back on. So I'm excited there. I was very concerned with UIs and add-on purge and whatever you want to call it coming into the expansion. I think I'm not against it, but I was worried about how Blizzard would implement and go through everything. I think how they've been changing what they have been going into the expansion has actually turned out better than I expected. And I'm quite happy with like my personal UI and where things have been landing now. So in general, I'm just excited. Also, this will be my first time experiencing something like this raid system because again, I started BFA. We've had one mini raid ever since I played the game.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was Crucible, and that was a very weird one that I didn't really prog because it was so difficult. But this is going to be a really interesting tier where we have like the 3 raids, and I believe we also are getting a mini raid in the 0.5 patch, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I'm curious how this all works with vaults because there's like that one boss raid, and there's a trinket in there that's probably best for like everybody. So
I
that
imagine
one item is going to be crazy.
I imagine it's just every boss you've killed and every boss prior to a boss you've killed in the raid are going to be in your table.
Yeah,
But
that
yeah,
one's going to be a little brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's a little
But
rough.
yeah, I think everyone's going to want Chimeras killed for Alnseer to roll.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we'll see if they nerf that
The
too.
unpronounceable trinket.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm thinking it's looking good.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to. I think one or both of you guys referenced that first season, the first Mythic Plus dungeon pool. I've talked about this for weeks now. I am sold on season 1 Mythic Plus dungeon pool. I think those 8 dungeons are going to be a blast. I'm looking forward to it. But I don't want to lead the witness here, Harrek. How are things feeling from the healer side of things? Are you hyped or are you a little worried? What do you think?
Well, obviously I'm hyped, right? Because it's a World of Warcraft expansion. Like I love the game. The way I look at expansion launches has changed a lot in the recent years because I've gone from being like marking the date on my calendar and just anxiously waiting for it to be like, can I get a couple more days before release because my guys are not ready? So it definitely changes your perspective of how launch is gonna go, right? But I'm hyped. Like it's looking good. But from the healer side of it, it's a little shaky on a couple of spots, right? Because well, the UI is like, I think the UI is more important for healers. Maybe I'm just wrong saying that, but I feel like it's just healers are more attached to the way they have the UI and the way they do things. And in general, I feel a little bit sad to say it, but I think healers have been a little bit ignored during the whole alpha beta thing because we have been complaining about things and making forum posts and things, but it doesn't feel like there's much come our way. So a little bit worried about that and how it goes in the future. But in general, like the game is good. Like it feels fun to play. The raids have been great. Raid testing was very fun. So
Yeah,
looking forward to it.
Well, why do you think that? I mean, let's say what you said is a fact. Healers have been ignored, and I'm trying to look at it objectively, not subjectively. Like, why do you think that you guys have been ignored, or why do you think that we're still going into the expansion with these issues? And someone like you had to create a solution that maybe has a weird workaround. I don't know how your add-on works, obviously. Like, what gives?
Yeah. Okay. So maybe people are gonna hate me for this, but this is an actual opinion I hold. I don't understand what any time at all was spent making an in-game damage meter before fixing the raid frames. I seriously don't get it. I think
hold on now.
Okay. What?
Damage, baby. That's where it's at. All right. We're looking for the top
Okay,
damage dealer, not the top healer.
There's no damage
It doesn't
meter
work
at
half
all.
the time. I can't see anything.
You can still log, right? You can still log and check at the log, but it there's no raid frame for us. We just cannot play the game. So yeah,
I think the UI still has a long way to go. I think that it's one of those things where I think they're trying to get as many things out as fast as they can, but yeah, I think there's a long way to go still for sure. Yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, why do you think Blizzard hasn't been listening, or why do you think they're just spinning their tires on this situation?
Well, it's definitely a time thing, right? Like they just run out of time. There's way too much stuff to do. And if you follow any add-on dev news at all, there's just so many bugs and glitches and exploits getting found all the time that they just have to spend so much time like fixing things and going around. There was recently an exploit, a weird exploit. I don't know if you've seen, most people have seen, there was a full interrupt tracker add-on for a couple of days because someone just found a way to read secrets. And yeah, obviously that's fixed now, but that means that they have to,
I think the creator of that came in my chat and was trying to tell me to use the add-on. I was like, "What? I don't even know what this is." And I was asking questions about it, and I was like, I don't know what this is. I'm not using this, man."
It was a weird glitch that they found to read secrets. So the UI team had to go back and fix that. So so they're spending time fixing holes and trying to implement things, and they just not enough time, right? There's too much stuff to do.
Those are the only the ones that are publicly known too.
Right. Exactly.
That's what I was about to say that.
Okay, so I believe Max was talking about this on stream, and Liquid reported a ton of stuff to Blizzard directly because they found a whole host of things that you could abuse in the game that were not secret valued. Very, very, very cringe workarounds, like setting your guild note so that your add-ons could read that. People coming online or offline on BNet. People getting their ranks changed in guild. And like this was things that could be used to communicate to add-ons that they're now, having to fix and figure out what they want to do with that. And then, they definitely only have so many people that can work on very specific issues too. It's not like, okay, we can just allocate the whole team to this. The vast majority of people at Blizzard can't work on X issue. It's like you might have a couple people that are working on one specific system, but then they also have other things that they have tasked. So it's just no matter what, they're in a bad race against time. There's a lot of bugs and issues in general, even outside the UI. But they did say that they're going to be changing how healer buffs are portrayed through secret values, didn't they?
I'm not sure, actually. Not that I'm aware of, but that would be great.
Don't even like a heart attack on stream, man, please.
No, I mean, like I'm just to give you a perspective for people that don't play healer. It will be like you see they fixing rate frame for healer, and then you get a note that says we ran out of time, so we're going to implement damage meter in 0.5, something like that. Like that's the level of things we're talking about here. So I know they need time, right? I know they want to do it. Obviously, they don't want healers complaining and quitting the game in droves. So that's also kind of my hope here. I hope they don't go out of their ways to break my method because they're just gonna wait until they do their own thing.
Yeah, let me post this here because not to break your add-on, but it looks like they're going to be changing how.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So it's not that they don't know it's an issue and they're entirely ignoring it, but I don't know if they know a good way to fix the problem.
Yeah,
and they have basically a month, right, to get it to where when it matters. Like right now, it doesn't matter until until the raid and everything actually starts. But that might not be enough time for any of those either. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, but also imagine if I found the method, if I can do it. Imagine I didn't make the add-on, and then Warfare shows up, and someone tunes into one of their healers, and they are tracking their buffs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because they definitely know about it, right? If I found it, someone else definitely did too.
Yeah, that's something actually you would reference Max from Liquid a moment ago. That's something he said in one of his more recent clips on his YouTube channel. Is they're in a like him, all of Liquid, all of Echo, all of these high level players and guilds are in a Discord server. Or they're with Blizzard and they are reporting everything because they don't want to be accused of cheating. They don't want to be accused of trying to slip something by Blizzard. And if something's there on launch, that's not their fault because they're reporting everything based on what Max was saying. And yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, Harrek. If you found something, I guarantee you other people have been finding stuff and more beyond that as well. So
there's definitely still a lot of bugs too, right? Not even talking about UI stuff, just like every class. I mean, I'm seeing lists for affliction bugs that are like 20 different things long still that we're having right now. I'm sure that's happening for every class. So it's like, it is a little worrisome, right? I mean, again, it doesn't matter for about a month, but that month will get here. That season will start very soon, and all of a sudden we're there, So
we're pretty much past the point of any changes or anything getting fixed.
Right, I agree.
Too.
Yeah,
there's going to be very little, and we're going to be waiting for the 0.5 patch for seeing like anything big,
which is very scary. I think we'll still get some tuning passes right before raid comes out, but I mean, I don't know if that will contain all the bug fixes.
So.
Something really funny happened with Restoration Shaman recently, actually, like last week. We found out that by mistake, our Apex talent was doing 50% more healing than intended. There was no patch notes, it just randomly got buffed. But that got fixed in like 3 hours. So thank you, Bulk. So those kind of buffs definitely get fixed real quick.
I want 50% damage increase. What the heck, man?
Yeah, just randomly your Apex does 50% more.
Yeah, no big deal. So what are you guys doing on? I mean, I'm assuming all 4 of us are going to be playing early access. So like, what are you guys doing? Are you playing with people? Are you soloing? Are you just kind of kick back and relax? Are you speed leveling? What's the scoop?
I basically level with like my best friend the last I don't know how many expansions at this point. So I'm hoping we'll just do that for a long period of time and just stream as long as I can. I don't know. Just have a good time. I'm not in any rush. I didn't do any leveling on the beta at all. I never do any leveling on the beta because I just like to explore it for the very first time, like when it actually comes out, and then just experience it with that vibe. Just watch all the cinematics, just enjoy it because you have all that time to just hang out. There's no keys to be run. There's nothing like I'm just leveling. I'm just hanging out. So I experienced it then for the very first time. So I genuinely have no idea what's happening with any of the storylines for anything. So I'm just looking forward to that.
Same.
It's gonna be a good time.
I used to do. Oh, go ahead, Shadarek. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm the same there, and sometimes it can be very hard to do, but I try my hardest to see absolutely nothing. Anything I can avoid in my testing, I will avoid. And then for me, it's just gonna be like probably leveling a few characters on stream by myself, and then leveling and playing with my girlfriend for a while, and then there's not really gonna be much else to do. So get all the characters prepared.
Yeah, I know. For me, I used to do speed leveling guides. Back during I did one for Mop, Wad, Legion, BFA, and Shadowlands. And then you guys remember Azeroth Autopilot? I used to contribute to that my last couple of years before I quit WoW for a while. And this time around, much like what you guys just said, I haven't leveled once, and I've had no desire to. I just want to go in. I just want to have fun. I don't care how long it takes. I'm not looking to push it to the max or whatever you want to call it. And I think it's just gonna be a very chill, very fun experience just to log on and just. And I know nothing. I've never really had that experience before, and I'm so looking forward to it. What about you, Harrek? What are you doing?
It's really hard to preserve right now too.
I agree.
Just the way that everything goes, it's hard.
What are you doing, Harrek? Are you leveling as Elemental or Resto, or what are you doing?
I haven't decided.
I say do Resto. Resto, do it. Lock it in.
I actually, people call me a madman for this, but I actually never level as a DPS spec. Like ever since I started playing back in like Rat of the Lich King, I just always level as a healer spec and playing. So I'm either gonna level as Preservation or Restoration Shaman, depending on what I decide to level first. But I level on my healer spec. I don't play the DPS specs. I'm just a healer. So I'm picking between the
same thing. I get it, dude. 100%. Yeah. If you're right or not, that's what you play.
That is insane. Does anyone else out there play as they main a healer and they level as a healer, like through questing and through? I
wrote my solo delves as a healer guides during World of Warcraft. I do everything on my healer spec. I'm a healer.
I actually think it's super smart too if you do keys, man. It helps you get comfortable with your DPS rotation. You can keep doing your healing stuff, but you're just comfy with your DPS. It's great. Do more damage.
Yeah, I don't ever start with my DPS spec. I just play my two healers and that's it.
Yeah, let's go.
I can understand tanking. Like, yes, you still do decent damage as a tank. You can survive anything, but healing. How long does it take you to do anything? I'm not trying to be silly, but I'm being sincere. Like, how long does it take you to get through anything as a healer?
Okay, obviously it takes me way longer, right? And it's incredibly annoying. But doing healer solo delves like the first week of the World thing has been some of the most fun content I've done like in a long time. That was great. I spent like tons of hours trying again to get my what was it like level 11, 12 week 1 on my healer Preservation Evoker. It was very fun. And yeah, same with the delve bosses, right? Like I have like a friendly competition with a friend of mine where we try to see who's the first to solo the final delve boss on our healer specs.
How did Kai'Veza go then?
Well, I lost all of them so far because both is really good at the game. But I was actually the first one to kill normal mode Sekbear the first day like delves were open on my Preservation Evoker. Yeah. So yeah, I do everything on healer. So I'm definitely gonna level as healers. I used to be the kind of guy who like expansion launch, and then I just started leveling and didn't went to sleep until I was max level. But I've changed that lately, and I just take it easy, especially because of early access, right? You just take your time, and I play with my wife. We get some snacks and soda, and just take your time and have fun.
That's awesome.
I think that's the beauty of like this early access too. It's you just get the vibe out. It's great. I love it.
As someone who used to do speed leveling, I am not the kind of person that criticizes anyone
Depending, like you can level however you want. Other than maybe as a healer, that's crazy to me. But if you want to speed level it, if you want to kick back and relax,
I get it.
I thought even the worst pick he could have picked on Evoker.
You haven't lived until you level as a restoration druid in Wrath of the Lich King.
Yeah, I mean,
oh my god,
I guess I haven't lived.
Yeah, exactly. Haven't started yet, but yeah, man.
I was a fire mid then. I definitely was fine.
Oh god, yeah. Whatever way you guys wind up leveling, and I mean that in a general sense. Anyone listening or whatnot, man, just have fun. I definitely agree with you guys. Just enjoy it, man. We have all the time in the world, quote unquote, during this early access. So just live it up and enjoy yourselves. Well, what are you guys hoping? Like, okay, you've logged on. You've done your leveling, you finished the storyline. Is there anything you're hoping to have experienced or discovered or anything? Or do you think Blizzard has any tricks up their sleeves with anything related to the story or to the world or anything like that? Or do you think it's going to be kind of par for course in the way that it all unfolds?
Well, we're in that setup part of the lore, right? Like we're in between the middle of this saga, so there should be something probably pretty big happening in the middle of this, whether it happens in the beginning or in the middle of these seasons. I'm assuming that we're getting some major lore element to start happening here, but I don't know. I genuinely have no idea. As long as it's spooky and fun, I don't care. I'm down.
Big spooky. I see the ghost on your mic. That's nice. I hadn't noticed that until last night.
Everywhere. I got ghosts everywhere, but there's ghosts on that blanket. There's ghosts over here. There's ghosts back there.
I just saw the affliction icon on top of your Christmas tree that you still have up.
This is an Aphmus tree. We celebrate Aphmus in this house.
That's fair.
We celebrate Aphmus in this house.
Then, is that a Midnight Collector's Edition behind your head too?
Yeah. Yeah, we got that dark heart thing back there too with the little ghost guy. Did you know that turns on, by the way? I just found out that turns on.
I saw that on Twitter. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, yes, that's so
cool, man. That thing's dope.
Agree.
Yeah.
I have a wall behind me. That's all I have. Just a beautiful beige wall. So I'm always envious of people. Well, I wouldn't. Well, thanks. I'm always envious of people that have cool things in their background. Shadarek has a Pikachu in his background.
I do. I got a Pikachu over there. I have 2 cats over here. They're both sleeping. This one is lion-sized.
Lion-sized? Oh my god. Oh, that's awesome. So, real quick, Harrek, are you leveling by yourself as Resto?
No, with my wife.
Oh, that's right. You did say that. Okay. Is she? What does she play? What role does she play?
Hunter.
Okay.
Well, she used to play tanks, but now she plays DPS. Yeah.
I see. So you're not really leveling as Resto then. You're getting carried by a hunter, is what you're telling me.
No. You're not gonna go there.
I went there.
Carrying hunters is more like it. Carrying hunters is more like it.
All right, let's move on, Joe. Let's move on. I want to talk about the next poll here real quick. Let me there's the button right there. I tell you, I move buttons around on my Steam Deck or Stream Deck, and every once in a while I just throw myself for a loop. The next question asks, what are you most excited for in your first session? We have a tie right here between playing with friends, which sounds like at least 2 of you guys. Oh, no, all 3 of you guys are playing with somebody. Wives, best friends, right? Girlfriends.
Yeah.
Lucky. And then the next option would be the main story. And then right behind them is just logging in. Not as many people are excited for their first dungeon, but yeah. I know for me, I'm not a big story guy when it comes to WoW these days. I was burned by Shadowlands and I still haven't recovered. But I am looking forward to seeing how the World Soul Saga continues to unfold and how, things progress in the world and whatnot. But is there anything, I kind of asked this question a moment ago, but is there a character you guys are really attached to right now? Is there something you want to happen in the story that you're hoping or expecting to happen?
Not in particular.
I really like the lore of WoW. Like, I'm super into it. I check it. I don't even care about the spoilers. I just consume everything that comes about the lore. But at this point, I'm just like, I just take it in, right? Like, I'm not like super expecting anything or like, it comes, it's cool. I read about it. I watch the videos. I consume it. I like it. I just not like super thinking of what's going to happen in the future and speculating. I'm not that kind of person, but I really like whatever happens. I'm going to probably like it.
I agree with that. Yeah. I think it's fun, man. Let's have a good time.
Yeah. When we look back over these last few months, what moment stands out to you guys in relation to something we've learned, discovered, something Blizzard announced, something that changed,
good or bad, is there one defining moment for you leading into midnight that stands out?
I mean, obviously the add-on thing, right? That was like the big thing that led. I mean, everybody panicked about that thing. I mean, I feel like that was like the most asked question about midnight going into this is people coming in the chat or asking about what's happening with add-ons or asking about UI things. So definitely that. I didn't panic about it. I felt like it was gonna be all right. You know what I mean? Like we'll figure it out. We've figured it out all this time. I feel like it was gonna be okay, but we just didn't know, right? So I think we're at this spot where it's still kind of we're figuring it out, and we'll see where we end up in a couple months here. But it's definitely something that I feel like has been pretty crazy. This going into this expansion, that's been like on everybody's mind. I think
it's definitely the addon thing. Like, if someone's gonna remember midnight launch by something, it's gonna be the addon thing 100%. And I was also like, early on, I was also like, yeah, this is gonna be fine. Elixir's gonna do it. We'll figure it out. I actually have a video from like Alpha saying, yeah, this is the default UI, and you can totally use this to heal. This is perfectly fine, but we see where that went. So
yeah, we'll see.
That's definitely the addon thing.
We'll see. Yeah. You can only keep saying they'll get it right.
Exactly.
Eventually it'll be like, okay,
it.
but we're still not getting it right. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I guess the fallback is always you just unlock more things for add-on devs, but that's not going to be a solution, right? I actually like the idea of having less add-ons. Like, I just want customization to my UI. I don't want I'm actually glad that weak auras are gone. I don't really care about that stuff. The only thing I used them for in the before was just so I could see information more clearly. Right.
Yeah.
So as long as we get something to allow me to see information more clearly, I don't really care what we have. It can be baked in. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I've definitely come around on the whole add-on thing because I've always been an add-on fiend. Like, God, I use as many add-ons as my poor little computer can handle. I love the customization aspect. I love the informational aspect, etc. But what you just said definitely resonates with me because I find myself not missing interrupt trackers, Omni CD, etc. Not to say that they're not useful, because obviously they are, but I like how clean and how open and just how just not basic but simple, or whatever word you want to describe it. My UI is now. I just love not having to track as much, which is not how I expected to feel going into midnight, because I've always been the exact opposite, only because I had access to it, I mean,
an interrupt tracker would be nice, though. That would be nice. Yeah.
Well, too bad.
I think it's you don't want to lack information that you can have, and knowing that no one has access to this anymore and it's gone and you don't need to track it anymore is a nice feeling. And this is how I feel about. It's not about weak auras being gone. Like, the add-on itself, there's a lot of useful things to it that would have been nice. I understand why they didn't care for development, but like getting rid of Liquid's weak aura packs, Echo's weak aura packs, where you have 400 to 600 weak auras, an entire boss mod system, plus every single customization into it. Thank God that is gone. That was the worst thing ever to keep maintained, especially as like someone leading a guild.
Yeah, and every week updating it and making sure everybody's on the same version, or else it's not going to work anymore. And it's like 20 minutes for that every day, every time.
Right. And then you have all these extensive notes for the recourse. It just, thank God that stuff was killed off. Even in a lot of cases where you didn't need a weak aura for it, it doesn't matter. They're paying someone to make it. They're going to have it. And you end up with so many weak auras that just weren't useful or were just adding clutter. And if you don't know why something is popping up, it doesn't really help you. And that's something that I found was like a big issue in a lot of people's UIs. Is like they're downloading all these different tools, but they're not actually using any of them. They're just losing parts of their screen covered with crap that they don't even know what it means. So I'm kind of thankful a lot of that's been pulled back on, because I don't think we should have access to any piece of information that can be available. I'm glad that a lot of this has been removed, because it's not like you can't keep track of some of this stuff or like be aware. It's just like you actually need to be aware of the game, not aware of what your UI is telling you. And I like playing World of Warcraft, not World of Warcraft's UI.
That actually, again, not to abuse the word, that really does resonate with me, because about a month or so ago, when we had the last round of Mythic raid testing, I was on my hunter, and listen, I'm a hunter. I've heard it all right, but in all seriousness, while I was in there and I was in an hour per boss, and I found myself watching the fight unfold in front of me and just vibing with it.
instead of, like you just said, watching my UI and watching a bunch of timers and watching a bunch of weak ores and stuff. And it was such a different experience because I haven't mythic raided. I haven't taken raiding seriously since Castle Nathri. That's the last time I did mythic raiding. And going from something like that to what was that?
Nothing, man. I was there too.
Thought you were cracking it. Thought you were cracking a joke at me there. But coming from CN to what we're getting in Midnight, it's so different, and I feel that it's a good difference. It's a very good change. It feels good. Not like you said, just not having to stare at my UI the whole time. I liked being able to just watch the fight and enjoy the fight. I don't know if that makes sense. That's just
I haven't done any raid testing, but I will say I'm hoping that this leads to, with the removal of weak auras and the adjustments to add-ons, that it does lead to more visual mechanics. I like when you can just look at a mechanic and understand, what am I supposed to be doing with this mechanic? Like, it might take a few tries to get a full grasp of it, but if you see a circle, you just don't stand in a circle. If you see another circle with around you probably have to soak that circle, right? Like, you get in a concept of like very like this is telegraphed and what you're supposed to be doing here, and not having weak aura telling you need to do all these little things. So I'm hoping that leads to more visual explanations of what you should be doing in any given situation. That way you can just train the player base of understanding when you see a mechanic, you understand the mechanic, right? Like, I'm hoping that that's where we go, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I want to say, having done all the raid testing, that it does feel that way.
Oh, good.
Now, not everything is going to be like that cut and dry, though, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, everything is like easy enough to understand, and everything feels like you are given enough time to figure out fights in the moment. So like, even Mythic of the first boss of Voidspire, Imperator Virgin or whatever his name is, he's like a tic-tac-toe boss where you're stopping the boss from making 3 Voidwalker guys in a line. So it's like very clear what you need to stop, because you're just not letting him win tic-tac-toe when you're breaking the adds. But you do it through, he spawns 3 adds, you have to put dispels on 2 of them from your group. But it's really just like, you assign 4 healers to dispel, they all dispel a person instantly, and then everyone else moves to the next one. And it's just like easy to solve. If you had a weak ore for it, it would have auto-assigned 1 healer to 1 person by name. Everything would have been automatically done, but it's also so easy to just do normally, as long as you don't have a Mistweaver that rips revival on your raid, you're good.
And we hope that our healers can see the debuffs.
Yeah. So there's like a lot of stuff like that, or typically it just feels like you have enough time to work out the mechanics, where previously, with weak ores, it would just tell you, 6 people get fixated with ads on Veracius, 3 of them have to go to left wall, 3 go to right, your weak ores assign it, and then Blizzard just goes, okay, you have 10 less seconds to do this mechanic now, good luck. Because, like, that's the only way to make the fight mythic level in speed and whatever. But I think everything felt good in testing. It felt difficult, but it all felt doable. And, like, doing this in, like, it wasn't my guild's group, it was, like, a split of Consequence and Envis. And, like, we worked out how to do every fight, and, like, we killed every fight we did on Mythic. So that felt really good, too.
There'll probably be some number adjustments for things too, but that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Would you say that this first tier is intentionally a bit easier than stuff we've encountered over the past couple of years?
Mechanically, yes, but I think it's going to feel pretty similar. Although I do wonder, because I think the removal of like computational weak auras is going to show some skill variation. I think there are players that really relied on them and players that didn't as much rely on them, like people that actually understand and know how to do the mechanics versus people that do what the weak aura tells them and they don't actually understand or ever learn what the mechanic is. And I think that might get a little bit interesting in some guilds where you have some people that really get like, just turns out they can't really do things well or figure it out on their own. And it's like, how much micromanaging can you do? As a raid lead, that's something I know I'm going to have to be looking out for. So
once more, it's going to be one of those, you suck, get out of here moments until until things settle down.
It could be.
To give you a little bit of a different perspective, I really like the bosses. I think the raid was great. But I was definitely having to spend way more time looking at my UI in raid testing compared to live because I was having a really hard time tracking who had Riptide already. So the bosses look good, but I had to not look at them a lot because it was really hard. So,
You know,
and also I don't know. Yeah,
Harrek, I want to interrupt you real quick. I don't know if you know, but there's an add-on called Advanced Raid Frames that allows healers to better track their buffs on their raid frames. Go download it now.
Who made that? Who made that?
Check it out. Right. So, I don't know if you guys know the issue right now with private auras and dispels. You probably heard about it. So some time ago, someone find a way to like track debuffs that the buffs apply. So in response, Blizzard made everything a private aura, right? So you cannot track it. That kind of solved the issue. However, private auras also don't really communicate even with the Blizzard default UI. So if something is a dispel and it's a private aura, you're not gonna get the border around the unit that says this person has something that you have dispelled. It's just an icon like a normal private aura. So I was playing with the default raid frames and I was doing a boss where there was dispels, but I wasn't getting the outline that said this guy needs a dispel. I just had to look at the icons of the debuffs they had because that's a problem.
There's like 100 of them.
Yeah. It goes back to that. I like the bosses. The raid looks great. It was really fun. I enjoyed raid testing a lot. But if we're talking about how much time do I have to look at the fight instead of looking at my frames, it was definitely way more on midnight than it was on War Within.
You're just gonna have to get good, Harrek. All right.
I suppose.
Do you think that's something that would change if they fix that aura issue? Like if if that got adjusted, do you think that would change then?
Yeah. That they say they want to fix that because obviously it's a big problem, right? When even the default UI cannot show things properly. But we'll see how well they do with that, right?
Yeah, it seems like a straightforward change, but who knows what that would take. So
yeah. I mean, it kind of circles back to what we were saying a little while ago. Like, why hasn't Blizzard implemented some things, fixed some things already? Will they before the first raid comes out? And if not, what kind of workarounds are we going to have at our access? I mean, we've talked about Harrek's add-on a couple times. We've talked about Max and Liquid and Echo and everyone reporting things to Blizzard and making sure that nothing is nothing weird is going on. We just don't know. I mean, ultimately, we just don't know yet.
There'll be some things for sure. There's going to be something. Yeah. I guarantee there's too many. We had too many big changes that happen. There's going to be something that's going to be tied into all this in some capacity.
If you've never watched a Race to World first, make sure you watch this one because I guarantee you there's going to be some wonky stuff.
I do wonder how the race is going to go with those separate raids too, right? Like, are certain guilds going to go after one raid, or I don't even know how they're segmented in release.
The way that they're segmented is, and this will probably just be a good description for anyone watching. So there's 3 different raids. We're starting with 2 out of the 3, and that's going to be Voidspire, which is the it's the 6 boss raid, and Chimeras, which is a solo boss raid. From what Blizzard has said, Chimeras is supposed to be tuned as like a middle of the tier boss. So like think like a 4th boss, not a Rashanon, but any other 4th boss that's ever existed. And then the 3rd raid is March on Quiltanos, and that's a 2 boss raid. March on Quiltanos has a boss that's also middle of the tier-ish, Beleren. So think about a 4th boss. Seemed pretty simple in testing. And then its 2nd boss, Midnight Falls, is our actual final boss of the tier. The final boss of the 6th boss raid, Voidspire, that's our penultimate boss. So it doesn't have like a super clear progression curve, but for the first 2 weeks, we're gonna have Heroic Week and then 1 Mythic Week where we only have the single boss raid and the 6 bosses. So we kind of have to work through those, and then once you hit a wall in the 6th boss, you'd go kill Chimeras, who has everyone's best trinket, and he seems simple enough. And then 2 weeks after that launch, we get the Heroic Week for the March on Quiltanos with the 2 bosses, and then we'll get the Mythic for that. So I'm curious how they land the tuning for Race to World first, because ideally they don't finish the first 2 raids before that 3rd one opens on Mythic. Otherwise, it's going to get very awkward. But yeah, I think for like the typical guilds, when we're all going in there and Mythic's open for all 3, it's just going to be go through until X boss, then go kill Chimeras and Beleren, go back until you finish the 6th boss raid, then go finish Midnight Falls.
And other than a couple of weird moments on beta, we've had 0 testing of that last boss. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so it's just going to be same thing it's been for a while. learn on the fly. Do you think we're gonna have a Galliwick situation? Or do
they
you think
actually messed up and the boss was tested.
Right. That's what I mean. Right. There was like a 20-minute window there where you could see the fight, right? Yeah.
I think they accidentally released it on normal, so guilds got info on it, unfortunately.
But I mean, I'm asking you to guess. Well, what do you think it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be a Galliwick situation where it's just a pushover, or do you think we're going to have to?
No,
we're going to see a real race.
No, I think that's going to be a real difficult boss. Especially so soon after Galliwix, they're going to make sure that does not happen again. And I don't know, Galliwix just had some very specific design failures where it somehow ended up with not a lot going on. I don't know what they did in testing that they thought that the last phase was difficult, but the fact that it was mostly a target dummy was pretty insane. I don't think it's going to be the case with Midnight Falls, and it has an interesting mechanic to it. I'm trying to remember exactly what it is, but it's something that would have been a lot simpler with weak auras and is going to be a little bit difficult, but something that you need everyone to understand how it works. And I believe the boss brackets off like a kind of think like Simon Says, where it'll do like 4 different shapes, and then 4 people get a shape on its head, and then it pulls out a beam and spins in a circle. And if you mess up the order, they don't order themselves correctly to get hit by the beam 1, 2, 3, 4, it wipes you. So I think the boss is just going to have more going on in general, and I think they're going to be getting a little creative with mechanics to see what works and what people like, considering that we don't just have a weak aura telling you to stand in one spot now.
Yeah. Now, we've already talked about... Go ahead.
I'm a little bit worried that,
please.
Obviously, I think they're going to make the boss really hard, right? Because, obviously, what I'm a little bit worried about is that whether to try to make it hard by adding weak aura mechanics without weak auras, or just by tuning it really high. Because there's always the chance that they decide, okay, the boss is hard because we added this very complex mechanic that everyone has to do right, but then someone out there figures out that there's this one thing that Blizzard allowed in the add-ons that actually lets you solve it in some way, and then the boss turns easier. So are they gonna just try to like tune it really hard, like give it a lot of HP, so even if that happens, the boss is still hard, or are they gonna risk it like, yeah, the mechanic is this?
I don't know, man. I'm definitely a fan of fights that really, push you mechanically and challenge you and so on and so forth. I'm the weirdo that likes the Stone Legion generals and the mythic kill Jadens and so on and so forth. The hundreds and hundreds of pulls. But I know not everyone is wired that way, so
yeah.
I don't like bosses that have a one-shot mechanic, where if one person fails, it just wipes the entire raid. That is just, it's never fun. Because then it's just one fail over and over again for the whole raid night for months on end until you actually don't mess up once. And it's like, it's okay if mistakes happen, but everybody wiping because of one mistake is always
not repeated mistakes. All right, learn from your peers, people.
And I actually think that is actually a very toxic thing. Like the first example that I get to my mind is Shanesh during Nyalota. I don't know if you guys remember that one. So you had to do this thing where you have different teams, and the boss sent an orb, and you had to like bounce the orb around the arena and send it into a goal. Yeah. So you set up teams, like these 3 guys go first. Okay. So the thing was that after 100 pulls, you just knew that one guy was gonna mess it up, and you started hating him, and that was kind of toxic because I was in the first group, right? So I got to learn first. So by the time the last group was learning, I was just getting it right every time and just raging on those guys because they had only 2 rounds of practice because the ball never got to them before that point.
That's so you got to cycle people in, man. Yeah. You got to make sure that once group 1 locks it down, then you let group 2 become group 1 and rinse and repeat until everyone's got it locked down.
The thing is, the labyrinth was different for every group, so you had to practice yours.
Yeah,
so
I do think
it was completely annoying.
I think a lot of the practice on that fight in particular, though, was that soccer mechanic felt real weird.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. I still have a clip of me somewhere just letting it go past in front of me, and it like hits the little like crab-looking thing on your head, and I'm like, okay, I need to actually get hit by it.
Oh yes, there is definitely a clip on my channel of me completely scuffing it. Also, for those of you who are watching this live on Twitch, do not type in the command "leap of faith." I repeat, do not type in the command "leap of faith." No, I said don't do it. It's not worth it. Don't worry about it. Arsyn,
you only told them they can't.
Yeah, exactly. Arsyn, real quick, we did have a question come in specifically for you from Brown Bear. Brown Bear asks, Arsyn, are you going to be playing Affliction or are you switching to Demonology?
No, that's one of my mods. It's fine. He already knows the answer to that question. I will not be playing Demo. That is something that I will fight against as long as I can. Demo's looking very strong right now in the beta, and I'm hoping that I don't have to play Demo at all, but I will play Affliction until I physically cannot play Affliction. Or get Demo nerfed, one of the two.
So
yeah, Demo's looking very good.
We've already talked about healing and how scuffed healing is for a lot of people and for a lot of reasons. As a hunter, as a warlock, which way am I? This guy, hunter and warlock, I feel like we're okay from a ranged position, but Shadarek, I pronounced your name correctly, right? Shadarek?
Yep.
Locked it in. Nice. How are things feeling from in the land of melee?
We talking in general or like specifically for Mythic Plus?
Well, I mean, we were just talking about raiding, so I guess I had that question in mind related to raiding, but you can answer it however you want.
Yeah, I'll try to encompass everything then. In raids, I was bouncing between Havoc and Devourer. Devourer felt easier on every single fight because range, frankly, always feels easier. There's like a fight now and then where it's not, but when you're not in melee, the fight just gets easier.
Range for the win.
That's how it is. Tuning wise, ranged also just seems absolutely better right now. Like maybe Sans on Holy Death Knight, who's been nerfed recently. There's actually a lot of really down horrendous melee specs, and there's a lot of very good range specs even after recent tuning. So kind of curious on that one. That one extends over to Mythic Plus as well. Pretty much the entire bottom of the pack is all melee, and the top is all ranged. The only thing in there is, again, Unholy is like towards the top end. Havoc's kind of getting up there now again too. And I do think they did something interesting that I don't think was a great idea this tier. They buffed the melee damage of every melee spec significantly, like massive amounts, like 15%
of the auto swing damage.
Cases. Yeah,
and hits.
That means you need to have Wind Fury, and you don't always get that, especially in Mythic Plus. So if you're a melee spec and you just aren't playing with a shaman, you just do less single target damage in Mythic Plus by like a sizable margin. Not counting the mastery, we're talking like 3% damage. Plus a lot of specs, it's also like energy gen and stuff. So I think shaman buff for a lot of specs now is like 7, even up to 10% damage, and I don't think that's okay. So that's also very limiting on Mythic Plus comps, as well as maybe more like even like shamans, heroic raids. Guilds that just don't have every raid buff, and they're like a heroic raid guild, and then it's like, oh, they don't have a shaman buff. Well, all your melee kind of suck now, so enjoy.
I haven't seen very many melee in general in Mythic Plus testing. Like, I do Mythic Plus testing a lot on stream, and I just haven't really seen anybody. But I mean, I have seen a decent amount of serve hunters, and they seem pretty good. They seem pretty good.
I know.
Most of the beta cycle. Yeah, but the other thing is everybody on the beta just gravitates to whatever's overpowered. So it's just Arcane Mage and Fire Mage and Frost Mage and Dev Evoker for a while, and then Demo Warlock's like crazy now. Yeah, it's wild, dude. Oh, and don't worry, Destro's the highest AoE damage I've seen so far, but the worst single target in the game. It's so bad. So we'll see.
Well, appreciate everyone's perspective on all of these topics. But listen, we're on a tight timer. Arsyn's got places to be, people, so we need to get the show on the road.
That's
all right.
That's not anybody. No, we're good. Everything's fine.
The next question in the poll, and by the way, again, you guys can answer this poll live if you're here. You can type in the command poll. But the question asks, did Blizzard do a good job listening to player feedback through the alpha and the beta? And half of, I'm actually surprised about this, half of everyone said, sorta. It's interesting enough, only about 10% of people said not really. That's not how I expected that poll to go. Also, just for the record, 15% of people said Midnight should not be launching yet, and there's still a long way to go. So, it's kind of all over the place. But yeah, half of people who responded said sort of. Harrek, I want to hear from you again as a healer, as somebody who you've already established not really. How do you feel about that? What does that poll make you feel?
Okay, if you had to answer it, I will actually say sorta, because while you hear me complain nonstop about the UI and the frames and the add-ons and things, in regards to like making changes to the healers and getting feedback and buffing things and everything, they've actually been surprisingly receptive. Like everyone probably saw how a couple of weeks ago, like Holy Paladin got a full rework and then instantly reverted because they just didn't like it. And then Preservation Evoker had some issues and they got changes, they got fixes, and no one remembers Rest of Shaman exists. So yeah, but they've been pretty good at like fixing things and responding to feedback. Well, they did change Ascendance, right? So they're listening. So in regards to like class balance and class changes and things, they've been pretty receptive. Like they've been like surprisingly more than other times. I think like also like that the secondary stat potion got nerfed recently, right? Like
yeah.
So like yeah, there's a lot of things that usually will just go through because they were working on other things. But now because of like reports and bug reports and just feedback from people, they have been going through it. So it's been a weird mix, right? Because the UI team is definitely overworked, but the people doing the classes and the balancing seem to be like very receptive. So it just bit of a contrast.
Yeah. I mean,
it always seems to go in waves. Like I feel like at the beginning of a cycle, they're very responsive and are very like attentive to like responding to everybody's complaints or feedback and stuff like that. And then in the middle, it like slows down heavily, and then at the end, we just don't hear anything. And I feel like that's where that needs to like they need to work on that heavily, because if we keep a consistent like track of how they're responding to feedback, I don't think they need to respond to every feedback, because then you're just going to get to back to the forums. But I think that they need more of a consistent track record of when they're actually responding to things and being just more communicative of what they want. I think at least in the affliction side of it, like a lot of times there'll be bugs that they'll get fixed and never responded about, or they'll just never talk about something, or they'll change something and never like mention why they're making that change. I like when we get a blue post and it says, we're making this change because we're trying to address this thing. And it's like that for every spec would go miles in helping the community understand, okay, this is what they're looking at for our spec, or this is what they like and this is what they don't like, and what we can communicate as a community back to them. It's something that I feel like is really good at the beginning and just terrible near the end of the cycle.
Yeah, and also as the raid approaches, everyone is like trying to get their feedback in there, because we all know that once the raid releases, you're kind of stuck wherever you were for a couple of weeks or maybe a month until like things settle down.
Yeah, I think that's another thing too, going into midnight, that I'd love to see more of. And I think that we had okay at the beginning of War Within, but then near the end was just bad. Is like there needs to be a better adjustment of tuning more consistently. We have these like heavy tuning passes that happen at the beginning, and then we just end up throughout the rest. We just have 2 months where they don't do any tuning or very minor tuning. And it's like I feel like there's so many times where things are so close, and like some specs are just right near there, and some are like definitely underperforming, and some are clearly overperforming. And it's like it would be, obviously balance is going to be a constantly moving target, but I feel like there's been multiple times where we are not that far away from being in a pretty comfy spot, and then they just don't do anything to it, and they just start working on things, and that's definitely frustrating,
I think. What do you guys think that collectively, other than UI stuff, all right, what do you think we may have overreacted to these past few months in regards to alpha and beta? Again, no, you can't use the UI, all right? No add-on talk, no UI talk. And no healer talk. But other than those 2 or 3 things.
What have we overreacted to in case of our like... Okay, I guess let's go with pruning.
I was going to say the exact same thing. Yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing. Yep.
Some of the community perception, I swear it's people that don't even play the game that are just riling things up. But, you have people talking about how every single spec could be played by their 2-year-old son and whatever else. And it's like, there are a couple specs that got pruned that bad originally and then pulled back. Like, I think Fire Mage, maybe Fire Mage is still that simple. But then it's like, for me, we lost like one button that was just kind of added on top of the rotation. One thing got simplified. It feels better to play. It's a lot easier to explain to people. So I think it's good. And then there is just a large portion of the community pretending that skill doesn't matter in the game and everyone's going to do the exact same and parses don't matter or exist anymore. And it's just like, I don't know what people are talking about.
Yeah, I would say rotationally, at least for Affliction, like things have changed a little bit, but I think simplifying rotations in some capacity is actually better for the game in general. Like, I think having more like cognitive ability to look at what's also happening instead of just fixating on your rotation is actually very healthy. I think there's a lot of times where playing a more simplified spec is actually good. Like starting, if you're trying to get into Mythic Plus and you're like not sure what you want to play, like sometimes it can be better to just start a spec that's a little bit simple so you can understand what's happening on the field and then adjust into like more complicated stuff. But I think that is definitely something that needs to be worked on still. Is I think there's plenty of specs that are still a little overcomplicated in some aspects or just don't synergize very well when you're dealing with a lot of things.
Yeah. And I do think I just feel like people overlook that in World of Warcraft there's so much going on at any given time. There's so many ways to optimize that even outside of your skill on your spec and your rotational complexity, you could take two people on any iteration of BM Hunter that's ever existed.
Hey, watch
where,
it.
You know, it's
Hey.
Okay. And you know, everyone knows what I'm talking about except for the other BM Hunters. So
they're not listening, it's fine.
Yeah,
that's completely zoned out. You're good.
But you'll take two BM Hunters and you'll take like a good hunter, you know, take Azertharian and an average hunter, and he is going to destroy them in every scenario ever, because it's not about how complex your rotation is or how simple or difficult it is to play. There is so much to min-max in World of Warcraft outside of your spec. So when you pull back on the spec, that lets people try to excel in those other areas, and like when you make all the range specs simpler, you can see who's actually a very good range player based off of their movement and things like that, as opposed to someone understands how to do enter the nuclear launch codes of their opener on a spec with 24 buttons.
I can definitely see why people overreact to the pruning, right? Because if you open any of the Warhead guides right now, you see a list of like 20 things that say this spells were removed. So it's like easy. It's like very simple to just see that and okay, they just destroyed my spec, right? And people don't really play beta, right? Like we obviously do a ton of it, but most people don't ever log in on beta to actually test stuff. And I've gotten a lot of people telling me, oh, they destroyed Rest of Shaman because we only place four buttons now. But if you look at a log of Mana Force, we only press 2 buttons there, so we're actually gaining stuff. So if people actually logged in and traded in the beta on well, next week I guess they can try it.
Yeah,
it is definitely not that bad. It's like you obviously have less things, but some of those things which are annoying chores that you have to keep track of, like I think they really nailed it that the game feels good to play still. And yeah, some specs are always going to be simpler than others, right? You can avoid that.
Yeah, and I think that's okay. I think you should have some like diversity in specs, and things should feel a little different across specs, especially on a class that has 3 DPS specs. It's nice when those 3 DPS are kind of different from each other in some capacity, and I think that's something that should be across the game, because then we get into like, you know, skill expression and understanding of different ways that you function in a fight and what you bring to the table. The problem I think that's starting to happen is we're having this slip where you have classes that are like, sometimes you have classes that are really good at AoE and good at single target, and you're having this issue where the last couple seasons we're having classes that are really good at single target and really good at AoE, and then you have like these outlier classes that just fall behind because at least in Mythic Plus, why would you bring a class that's just good at AoE and bad at single target when you could bring one that's pretty good at both of those things or really good at both those things? And that's something I think I'm still hoping that with this pruning and adjustments, I think they're still focusing on that kind of stuff too. I feel like as far as Affliction Warlock's gone, like talent changes happened a decent amount, and then we've just like nothing for like the last like month, like no talent changes, no really like conversation about talent changes or anything like that. It's like I feel like that's probably happening to a lot of specs right now, where it's like, okay, there's still things that I think need to be adjusted here that are clearly still a problem. So I guess we'll see where we end up.
Yeah. There's also the fact that a lot of problems in design of the specs get just covered over by tuning, right? Like you can have a spec that it's kind of bad and everyone's saying, yeah, this is crap, it needs a rework, it's just really bad, and then you just buff it like 50% and everyone says it's the best thing since sliced bread, like even without any change to how it actually plays. So that's very common. That's actually where I think the Rest of Shaman is right now. Like I think it plays well, it flows a little bit, it's just kind of weak right now. So I do think if you just buff it, people are going to say, oh, okay, this is fairly well designed, but it's just weak. So
yeah, something else in relation to the pruning that we've talked about and people at large have talked about, you know, if we think back to a few months ago when they announced it, and you know, some people did get upset, whatever. But then we've seen, you know, the simplification of things. We've seen housing being introduced. So all of this is pointing, I agree, all of this is pointing toward Blizzard intentionally making the game more approachable, you know, trying to reach more people or trying to reach people that have played and are wanting to pull them back in. And that's a good thing, right? I mean, again, I'm not trying to lead the witness here. I always try to be careful with how I present my opinion on the show, because I don't need you guys to be agreeable. I need you guys to tell me how you really feel. But I do look at it as like, I personally don't engage with the housing system, not because I dislike it or because I think it's bad, but because it's just not my cup of tea. But I love the fact that it exists. And even though I don't play every class and spec in the game, and I'm sure that there are problems, I think that by simplifying some things and toning down some things, and if they make the game, the roles, the classes, the whatevers, the raids more approachable, if it attracts a larger audience, that's good for everybody. I don't know if you guys see it the same way, but how do you feel about that?
No, I agree. This is a game that's been around for like 20 plus years, and it's a game that I have loved this whole time and been a huge fan of it. And it's a game that only exists by people continuing to play it and loving it. And it's like, okay, the thing that I want to play will die off if people don't keep playing it, right? So I think going after people in the way that they enjoy playing the game, like who cares? Like I think that's one of the beautiful things about this game is there's so many different aspects to it, between raid and mythic plus and collecting pets and doing, housing now or transmog or whatever. Like, who cares the way that people play it, as long as we're all just one big community, everybody playing it? That's great. I think that we need more stuff like that. Also, housing is super fun, and if you don't like it, I'm sorry, that's okay, but it's super fun, dude. It's dope. Like, it's such a great thing to do after I'm done doing keys or before I'm doing keys. It's just like hanging out, working on stuff. It's like I can do it by myself while I'm just talking to chat. It's so much fun, man. I love it.
Yeah, man. I think that it's been long overdue. And again, I don't personally engage with it much right now, just because it's not built for me, and that's okay. And I feel like so often people get so caught up on that little part of reality. A, not everything is designed for you, and B, duh, that, like, obviously, but that's okay. It's not everything is going to speak to you.
Yeah, I've heard that sentiment a lot too, about how it's pulled away resources from other parts of the game because of work on housing. I don't know if we have any way of confirming that that's actually true.
Yeah, exactly. I can't imagine
even
that's how it's.
Did, we can't confirm that would lead to other things that you wanted. I think it's just an easy target for people that don't like housing if they have any other complaint about the game. But it's like, I don't necessarily think it's the case. Like, who knows how Blizzard allocates resources for what? But I don't think that saying that housing is the reason why X class is bad or the raid isn't good or something like that. Who knows how that goes? No, I think all those things are needed for the game to succeed.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we actually got some information on that specifically, and the housing side of development was an entire company that Blizzard acquired like 4 or 5 years ago that's worked on it. It's not their World of Warcraft dev team. Yeah, it was an entirely different company.
Are you making that up?
I mean, it makes sense.
No,
it makes sense.
I'm trying. Let me see if I can find the article for it.
Wasn't a similar thing with Plunderstorm too? It was like another company they acquired, and then that team worked on Plunderstorm or something like that. Wasn't that the case?
Plunderstorm
I heard
amazing.
that, and a lot of like new employees to the company that they didn't want diving right into the WoW game, but getting work on the code. Is what I heard.
No, Plunderstorm's dope and should be all the time. They should just be a battle pass system for Plunderstorm like Fortnite and just let it be there all the time. Because
oh man, we've had it twice now, right?
Yeah, Plunderstorm's super fun, man.
That was
I think
so much
like
fun.
That are good. I think they're all just avenues for people to get interested in WoW. Like Hearthstone was kind of like the first thing, right? That like helped lead people into being more like if you've never played it, you might start messing around with Hearthstone on your phone or something like that, and then maybe get interested in playing WoW. Like these are all just avenues to lead people into playing WoW in whatever capacity. I think it's the same thing with like classic WoW and Burning Crusade and all that good stuff.
Pump the brakes, sir. I think the first thing may have been Warcraft 1, 2, and 3. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
all right.
But that's the actual direct path to the game coming out. I'm talking about avenues to get people to play the game after it existed.
Yeah, dude. I remember when Hearthstone launched. God, it was such a big deal. I played the crap out of the game for a while too. Shadarek, while you're looking that up, I do want to transition to another portion of the podcast here that I specifically set aside time for, and that is Larias's Raider's Guide for Midnight. Have you guys been keeping an eye on this bad boy here, this big guide that Larias has been writing?
No idea what that is.
You don't know what it is, really? Holy moly! All right, so this gentleman named Larias, and if Larias is listening and or ever watches this, please, you are more than welcome to leave a big old comment below on YouTube or chime in on Twitch or whatever the case may be. But this will be in the description, of course, and I'll link it here live in a moment as well. But essentially, this gentleman and a few other people that have been helping him, he talks about what's changing for Raiders in Midnight and how to min-max appropriately, how to spend crests appropriately. He's rewritten the guide over the past couple of days after that big crest announcement was made by Blizzard. I'm sorry, actually wasn't an announcement, it was data mine. Let me clarify that. But it's a really, really well-written guide about
if you're looking to min-max as much as possible in terms of gearing and upgrading and whatnot, there's a lot of good information here. Harrek, have you seen anything about this? Have you looked at this at all?
Yes, I've seen it. I've known Larias for a little bit. I know the guy exists for a while now, and I know he puts a lot of time in it. I think it's a very cool fact that the resource exists, right? And he obviously goes very out of his way to make it sure it's updated and has everything. I like that it exists. My one issue with it is that I think that way too many people get baited by thinking they have to follow the guy completely.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's go ahead.
So if you just want to go full degen and maximize your item level, like every single drop you can, that's the guy you have to follow, right? But no one actually needs that. Like by week 2, you're just gonna bet full mythic plus, and it's not gonna matter. But a lot of people are probably thinking, yeah, I have to do that. And I'm sure that there's a bunch of raid leaders out there linking the guy to the raid. So if you do not fulfill the checklist every week, you're kicking you from the team and things like that.
All right,
I can definitely agree. I think there's probably probably like the main components of those things to take away are kind of the time gated things, right? Like how you spend your crests and how you spend your sparks. While it's not necessarily required, but those are the things that you probably should put some thought into, just because there's no going back, right? And I feel like that's always kind of hard with some of these systems. Is like, a lot of stuff you will replace, but some of these things might take 2 or 3, 4 weeks to be able to actually replace those things or fix those issues. And I think that's what scares people, right? It's like, I don't want to make a huge mistake, and all of a sudden I can't. Like my character's like 4 weeks behind now, which is that's talking about the system as a whole. But hopefully those kind of things aren't as punishing. It seems like crafted weapons aren't as crazy right now as what I'm seeing on the beta from a lot of stuff. Like I know crafted weapons were like the huge thing in the War Within. It seems like we're not really going down that path as much. At least crafted weapons have been bugged on mine. Really?
Yeah, because it's just gonna depend whether or not you get a mythic weapon. But like in the War Within, it was just nice because typically everyone's best embellishment was I don't even remember what the one is, the one that ramp stats, Ascension.
Ascension.
So like, people would just get it for Ascension early. But like for me at least, I'm still recommending weapon craft for main hand as Demon Hunter. And then you're gonna start with one of the like Dark Moon powers. I think it's Void for us, which is just a first proc. But then that gets recrafted off later. It's a little awkward because like the best embellishment is actually a ring embellishment now, but I think crafting
it got nerfed recently too. That ring embellishment got nerfed. Yeah. Oh, not focusing iris. The one that gave you
no. Yeah. I know the one you're talking about. Focusing iris is the best single target one now, and it's jewelry only.
Yeah, no, I feel like embellishment's been really weird because half of them have not been working the entire beta cycle, and crafted weapons in general, most of them haven't been working either. They're like not even half the main stat on them. So like a bunch of the weapons that were crafted from inscription and blacksmithing, at least for like int weapons, didn't actually scale correctly. So anybody that was running those in the beta had like a third of the intellect on them. They had like 100 int instead of like 500, and it was like that the entire beta cycle. And a bunch of the embellishments just straight up weren't working. Like the Dark Moon ones weren't working at all. So I wasn't using them at all.
Fix that, right? There's no way that you not.
I reported that like week 1 of the beta, and it's still like that when I logged in yesterday. So
okay, well, healers don't get loot, so we're definitely crafting weapons.
Right. Makes sense. I'm hoping we don't craft weapons.
Larias,
so annoying.
Larias is actually in chat now. Larias, is there anything specific you want me to relay on the podcast right now in relation? Yeah, he says the crafted weapons are fixed now. Yeah, but is there anything related either to what you wrote or the guide itself or anything like that you want relayed that can clarify anything or explain anything or whatever the case may be? While he's writing that up, do you guys are aware of the data mine changes we've seen with crests? Correct.
I've heard about it a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, it's a net positive. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? Because it's now we get, is it 5 upgrades a week instead of 4?
Yeah, I can go over it.
Please.
If you would like.
God, I'm so glad there's smart people here. Holy moly!
The
way it used to work was it would scale from 10 up to 50 for the upgrade ranks. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That's a net of 150 crests to fully upgrade a piece. This expansion, we get up to 100 a week. So you weren't even able to fully upgrade a piece. They've now changed that to just a flat 20 per rank, which costs 100 to max out a piece. So you can upgrade a full piece every single week. It is a little bit slower than the War Within. where we got 6 upgrades a week because they're 15 and we got 90. So we went from 6 down to 5, but it is a massive net positive to what the system was looking like. And it's a lot easier to explain to people because it is just going to be whatever piece is best upgrade it the full way now. Whereas before it was, you really needed to just sim it and do what your sims told you to do if you wanted to be fully optimal. And yeah, so I think it's a good change in general. I also personally, I don't mind it being slower than the War Within, but I know a lot of people just want to cry they got nerfed. So I'll leave them to their opinion.
Everybody's perception of things too, right? Like,
yeah,
yeah. A lot of people just come back at turbo, and then when you play at the beginning, you're like, wait, what's all this? Like, have a cap?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, I mean, Screaming Pinecone says it's the same as the War Within, 90 cap in the War Within, 15 per rank, 5 upgrades per week. Is that math out?
Sorry, repeat that?
So Screaming Pinecone in Twitch chat says it's the same as the War Within, 90 crests per week, 15 per rank, for the upgrades. You would get 5 upgrades per week.
That's 6.
90 by 50 is
6. Yeah, 6 upgrades. Okay, just making sure. Yeah.
Yeah, 75.
So you guys can do math. I'm not allowed to do math at all.
So, but I mean, I agree with you though. Like it for me, it's all relative, and that's how I see it. Like, if we're all getting upgraded at the same rate, I mean, what does it matter? I personally couldn't care less, right? As long as we're all on the same page.
For you and me, it doesn't matter because we're just gonna get a DM from the officers telling us what to upgrade.
Go upgrade this or else. You ain't raiding this week. Larias says Harrek's is 10,000% correct. That's a lot of correctness. The information is advice. It is as min-max as possible to get the info out there. Players and guilds should pick the things that work for their respective teams. Hall of Fame teams will do this stuff and more, but if you're a world rank 1000 raid leader, you shouldn't tell your players to do this or you lose your raid spot. I think it's a very healthy perspective. I know for me, like, I love this kind of stuff. Like, even though I'm just a goofy little hunter who I'm going to do what I'm told on my raid team, I love data. I love seeing people min-max, or I love min-maxing. I love seeing people come up with these kinds of tools and systems. So, Larias, speaking only for myself, and I'm sure many other people, I suppose, thank you for taking the time to make that, man. I love it. I love reading that kind of thing. For me, like, that's what's so exciting about raiding and about playing this game, and it's unlike, most, if not every other MMO out there, is there's just, because there are so many people that play and care, you get cool add-ons, you get really cool guides, you get really fun streamers and YouTubers and stuff like that just make stuff. And I love that. That's just one of my favorite things about this community as a whole. Anyway, I just went off on a little tangent there. Sorry.
No, I think you're 100% right. I think it's great. But I think the problem that happens is kind of what was talking about there, and what they kind of said in their response too, is that there's this in between where people think that to play the game, you have to do that exact thing or you're failing everything else. And it's like, okay, I think it's the same thing happens with tier lists and front of a month and playing whatever is that. I think the biggest thing I try and say, at least on my stream when I'm talking to people, is like, play what you enjoy, man. Mm-hmm. Like, this is a game. Like, if you enjoy chasing those things and you enjoy doing that, great. That's perfect. But not everybody enjoys that and should, like, you don't have to. I think it's way more fun when people play what they want to play and everybody can enjoy what they want to enjoy,
Are you cold?
Shadarek? It's maybe a little. Maybe I like
20 Ryan right now, man.
Blankets. It is -8 Celsius here.
Oh my god!
I don't know what that is.
Really, really cold.
Let's find out.
That's
not
probably
that
close
cold,
to like
actually.
30 degrees or something.
I cut you. I'm so sorry, man.
Fahrenheit.
Okay, that's pretty cold. Yeah, I cut you off, Shadarek. I'm so sorry, man.
Oh, no worries. All I was gonna say was, I do think something that is very overlooked too is if you enjoy something, it's going to be better to learn to be better at it. Like, you're just gonna put more of yourself into whatever you're playing.
Exactly.
And in 90% of cases, skill really matters more. We've had a few things. Don't remind me of like Blood Death Knight and Destruction Warlock in season 3 and 4 Shadowlands. God. There's nothing you can do. And
there was some minor things you could do in Shadowlands as Jester Warlock to make you set yourself a little better, but yeah, it was definitely something else.
I just more mean you could be the best Havoc Demon Hunter in the world, and you should just play a Destruction Warlock. There's no world where you can. There's no competition. But like in almost any tier, if you're good at something and you're just gonna play it at a high level, you're gonna perform better. Unfortunately, the only issue with that is that when you're trying to pug and get into groups. The general community doesn't think that way, so good luck getting into groups. But you can outperform people on meta specs without an issue, and
I go
just kind of
both
struggle to get in.
ways. I go both ways on that question because that gets brought up in my chat a lot since I'm pugging Mythic Plus all the time as Inflation Warlock. And I do think that there is like a mix between the two. Like sometimes that is the case, and definitely as you get higher and higher, you'll have that case where yes, certain groups look for certain things. But I think that it happens the inverse way as well, where if you're playing whatever the FODM is, there's 1,000 other of those whatever BM hunters or whatever it is, and you're just competing against those players too. So the problem is that you can only get so many people in a group. So while yes, a class that might not be as well presented might get overlooked, but I would say you have similar issues the other way too. So I've gotten invited to plenty of groups because I was playing the off meta spec and vice versa. So I don't know. Sometimes I think it definitely can be blown out of proportion when it comes to certain things like that. And I think that's something that the community can just do better as a whole. You know what I mean? I think resilient keys are a good direction for that, where helping people be a little bit more open to not just always going with the bottom. But who knows, man? I don't know. I'm not the fucking expert on that.
Do you like resilient? I've had so many people on that play at the extremely high level of Mythic Plus that say that they do not like resilient keys. What's your take on it?
I think they're a good start. I think there's still a lot of work to do on that system. I think I've heard several like suggestions for that system where it should be like one key level behind what you actually do. So like if you time all your 16s, then all of your 17 keys can't go down, or vice versa or whatever. So you just keep that way. You always have a progression track where it's like you can't go below your next highest key, which is the key you want to work on. But I think the key system is something that I hope that they continue to keep working on, because I think it is something that would benefit from a system like we have on the beta, where you can kind of choose what key you want to target and not have to worry so much about it depleting and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I have.
Go ahead.
I have a consistently hot take with resilient keys that has gotten me flamed many times. I think the system is horrible at current implementation. I think it does absolutely nothing right. They could either remove it or improve on it. Either way, it could be better, but I think it is the worst implementation right now. Because it can either be that it could go key levels ahead of you, and then you're just able to do progression keys, and you can't drop below your current level. That, I think, would be better than the current system. My problem with the current system is that to do a progression key that can't be failed, you need to call a friend for help. So it becomes a bigger social game with a massive downside where you're not even doing progression in a group. You need someone that's going to sit there with you that's already done this and just go through the trouble. And this creates a lot of problems. Then I also just think it would be better if they didn't exist. Keys. People think keys got significantly more difficult this expansion. No, you're doing higher keys because the resilient key system is pushing everyone up. Everyone is doing higher key levels now. It just, no matter what, it's going to do that. So that's also a negative to it, while it feels good for pugging. And then the third thing I want to point out is, while the system seems like it's really nice for like the more casual level player base, which is often brought up, it doesn't work below level 12. Keys are not resilient. If you drop a key from a 12 to 11 and you have resilient 12s, it's no longer resilient. It can brick. I don't know why that's the case. So I dislike everything about the system and the implementation. I think it's like genuinely the worst case in every way. And no matter what else they could do with it would be better. That's my opinion.
I do think that it's something that they need to continue iterating on for sure. I think it's one of those systems that's like, we had a bunch of discussions about this at one point in time, and people were talking about it, and they built a system, and then we haven't heard anything for a while, right? So I would love to see some more feedback on that and hear them talk about it more, because I agree. I think that there's still a lot of work ahead. I still think resilient keys are cool in some aspect, just because it's fun to be able to, not have to worry so much about your key bricking in some situations. But yeah, I would much rather it was the other way, where you got the next level up so you could just keep progressing keys, because that's all I want to do anyway. So
yeah,
I think I also have. Sorry, I think I have a bit of a hot take about resilient keys, and people probably will hate me for this. But one of the problems I have with that is that I think it takes away people from the player pool, and I think that's bad for casuals. Like let's say you're just a chill casual player, right? And you're pushing 16s, which is like your limit. You're struggling to time 16s. if there's no resilient keys, maybe eventually you get into a 16 with someone who is actually pushing 19s, but they depleted their key by mistake and they're just grabbing bodies to push it out. And you basically get carried, and let's accept it. Getting carried every now and then just feels good, especially when you've been stuck somewhere for a long time, right? But with resilient keys, that guy is never going to come near you. He's just going to be up there in his resilience keys. So it takes these good players away from all the general population because they're just hitting in this little resilient thing up there. So you get less interactions, and to be honest, like interacting with players better than you also makes you way better, right? So like splitting it this way, I don't super like it.
Harrek, 16s aren't casual. What kind of world do you live in, man?
Okay.
I think sometimes you can have that those overlaps happen. Like you were saying, like 16, 17s. That overlap can sometimes happen early on in the season, right? Where you have people that are still like resilient 13 or 14. But yeah, I agree that there is definitely an aspect of that. I mean, I still run lower keys sometimes just to fill my vault up or whatever. So I definitely still fall into that category where I'm just joining random pugs. But I can definitely understand what you're saying about pulling some people away from the thing too. But I feel like there's a like devil's advocate there, right? Where then you have the people who just flame people for not being as good in lower keys and crashing out, and it's like, I don't know if we want everybody in that pool, you know?
I'm just thinking about it from the perspective of like if you go to a MOBA, for example, like if there's more people, the queue is faster. You just usually have a better time, right? Like games can go either way, but just getting to play faster because there's more people and different skill levels of people just feels
that's
better.
an entirely different conversation in general. Dude, some system of queuing up for keys would be insane, right? Like
no, we're not gonna queue it for great. I just want more people queuing keys like all levels.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Harrek, I was just giving you a hard time, of course, because I swear to God, every video I get a comment from somebody saying, "This guy's so out of touch. That's not how casual players feel or think or play or whatever." So I'm protecting you. I'm insulating you. Harrek didn't mean it that way. Everyone, don't worry. He meant +6s, not +16s. No, he meant 16s. Harrek, I do want to carve out just a little bit of time for you. I know we touched on it at the very beginning of the show, but I have right here in my notes, Harrek, what do you want the average player to understand about healing going into midnight? And what would make healing feel supported in midnight instead of just making it harder? So if you want, just take a couple minutes here and talk about healing, because that's literally one of the reasons why I have you on the show this week, is to make sure the healers get a voice, make sure the healers are heard. So what matters to you guys right now? Like, what do you want to say?
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course, man.
Okay. So if I have to say something like to the average player that I want to understand about healing, it will be that going into midnight, I think healers are going through a little bit of a rough time, right? So a little bit of understanding here will be great because, like, okay, everyone's talking about losing their interrupt trackers, right? But if you're doing a normal key like filter vault or whatever, and an interrupt goes through, the one who has to actually deal with the consequences is the healer, right? So yeah, it sucks for the DPS that there's no interrupt tracker, but the healer has to fix it, and then the UI of the healer might be kind of bad, and then so everything that goes wrong in a key that doesn't immediately kit someone ends up being, okay, the healer has to fix it, right? So yeah, give it a little bit love to your healer because they're going through it. And talking about making healing feel supported, this comes a little bit more to a design thing, because there's two types of mechanics that do damage, right? In everywhere, but mostly in keys. There's like good damage, and then there's like kind of bad damage. I'm gonna go through that a little bit. So let's say you're healing a fight, right? And like everyone is taking a little bit of damage. Maybe there's an aura that is taking everyone down, and the boss is about to cast a spell. So you're just going through it, like managing your resources, using the cooldowns. That feels good, right? Where you're a healer, you're healing, and it's great. And there's also these situations where everyone is at full HP, everyone has their cooldowns, you have everything, but you're still stressed because you can know that any millisecond someone might get one shot. So you're shaking and just trying to pay full attention, and sometimes you cannot do anything about it. Like probably some of you guys remember Throne of the Tides, like that boss that threw the flame shocks. You were just stressed the whole time because everyone might get randomly one shot at any second, and you could do anything about it. You were just shaking and trying to keep everyone at full HP, and yeah, it was just bad. So there's good types of damage that feel good to heal and feel like they're challenging you as a healer, and then there's bad types of damage that make you feel like the game just hates you and is deciding to kill your friends because it hates you. So to make healing feel like supported, like to design things in order for healers to enjoy playing the game, they have to do more good damage and less bad damage. it's kind of unavoidable in Mythic Plus at that point because everything uses scales, right? At some point, things are going to one-shot you, and there's nothing you can do about it. But like in general, healing checks are cool because you get to heal, but one-shots, especially random one-shots, are just bad because it still feels like your fault, but you're really gonna do anything about it, right? And it comes to raids a lot because one of you guys were talking about, like, it feels very bad when you're doing a raid and it all depends on one person messing it up and everyone blows up, right? But then you get to, for example, Fractalus, where one person messing it up, it means it blow up, but the boss also does no damage. So I'm a healer and just kind of just standing AFK waiting for my team to actually kill the boss. I don't do anything. Like, there's no point in me trying hard because there's no damage, and there's no point in me like helping because it depends on someone else to not blow the ripe. So I'm just there to fill the spot, and that feels bad. Right? So yeah, there has to be good damage in the game so healers enjoy playing the game, and there has to be less damage so healers stop hating themselves.
Do you think that Blizzard is likely to address these things this first season, or do you think you're going to be waiting around until season 2 at the earliest to even deal with these issues at hand?
Well, I think there's a long-running issue with WoW, right? Like, especially Mythic Plus, like the one-shot thing is like normal and accepted thing of Mythic Plus at one point. And right now, I think Blizzard just has to play full with the more important things at the moment that just redesigning healing. I think they try very often. Everyone has seen those patch notes that said, yeah, we are doubling everyone's helpers, so healers actually have to heal, but it never ends up working out. I feel like they're aware of the issue that sometimes it just feels very bad, but yeah, they're probably kind of busy right now. I don't expect anything soon, but if you ask me what will they have to change for a healer to feel better, it will kind of be that.
Out of curiosity, have you
Go ahead.
done a lot of Mythic Plus testing on Beta Harrek?
Not a lot. I've done some keys, like probably 10, 15 across 2 specs, but not a lot.
Personally, I do feel like they finally they did it drastic enough this time where they made the health bars big enough that I don't really believe keys are going to hit the point where every mechanic is a true one-shot if you forget to put a defensive.
It feels better. It definitely feels better. I can tell you that.
I was going to say,
and I can tell you as a Havoc.
That, yeah, go for it.
I was just going to say, I can tell you as a Havoc as well, like, I'm not topping myself with Leech every tick anymore. Like, this is just not a thing. Health bars are way bigger. You go, Arsyn?
I was going to say, too, I think, at least from the keys that I've been doing, I was trying to think of how many, like, one-shot style mechanics there are that aren't telegraphed. Because when you brought Throne of Tides, I think part of the issue that happened in that key a lot was there was just no telegraph. It was just, you're just dead. And I'm trying to think of a lot of things that have that boss mechanic where all of a sudden you're just dead. A lot of stuff that I'm thinking about, you do have information that you need to pop something here. I think as a community, when we're doing keys, we'll find where your healer needs to just to heal it and when you need to use like a defensive, and that will get a little bit easier. But no, I completely agree. I think unfair one-shot mechanics are not fun for the DPS or the healer or anybody, right? Like, if you lose a key because a random one-shot went off that you had no control over, it just happens. Like, that's not fun for anybody. So I definitely can agree with that for sure. And I don't think I know of any right now. There probably is one or two, but I genuinely don't know of any in keys.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I think they've gotten a lot better with it, and I think, like, thinking of every single dungeon, every boss fight, they have been a lot better about adding just consistent group damage into everything as like part of it. So you're not going into the difficulty of this thing does 110% of your health. You're going into some rot damage, and this does 60% of your health. And if your healer's dead or falls behind, then that could be a problem. But also,
some of it's really interesting too. I'm noticing not a lot of, like, at least when I haven't seen a lot of like bleeds and like dispellable things. Like, a lot of them are just an aura that just does damage to you on a boss fight. Now, like the one they did of Xmas, where you used to be able to dispel that. Like, I love that I could use my imp to dispel that. Can't dispel it anymore. You're just taking that raw damage the whole time. It seems like that's a very consistent thing across the board too, which I'm curious how that's going to be, because that was a big mechanic.
Really good. Yeah, that's actually really good, and it's really important to have it because you also run the risk of going all the way to the other side, and we get back to like Shadowlands or something like that, where your healer doesn't matter, right? You go pick the healer that does the most damage because healing is kind of a joke, and you're just passing your princess into the key. So there has to be damage that you actually have to work your way to heal, but it has to be the proper kind of damage.
Yeah. No, yeah, and it feels good when people have answers, right? It feels fun when the DPS are cycling defenses correctly and your healer is able to do their job at the same time. Like that, I enjoy that type of playstyle. It's hard sometimes as a warlock because raw damage on us is just not good. But it is fun when you have that playstyle and you get comfortable where, like, I need things here or whatever, right? And your healer understands that. It's always good. It's fun.
Is there anything else you want to just get off your chest, Harrek, in relation to healing or anything like that?
Crash out about healers right now.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure,
So,
man. You listen. You've got the mic, man. If you need to say anything, please.
okay, so just to, I feel like I've been a little bit doomer lately about healing in general on the UI and whatever, but I want to end up with WoW is actually good and healing is fun and the specs are good and the design is fine and everything is fun and the game is really good. So we're obviously focusing on the issues and some of the issues are bigger than others, but it's like the game is good, like the content is good. Like we're really looking forward to healing the raid and healing the and doing keys and whatever. I'm really excited for it because everything seems to be good. Obviously, balance is always going to be a constant thing, and like there's bugs and whatever, right? So you're going to hear screams about my spec, my talent, my whatever, my cooldown, my thingy. But the game in general is just good, and healing is fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to standing in fire and begging you for heals during every raid for the next few months.
He said he wanted something to do.
That's true. I'm just gonna have a whisper macro to you every time I hit kill command. I'm just gonna spam use heal me.
I don't even have to stand in fire. I'll just leave burning rush on. We'll be good. Just leave burning rush on. You got it. You want better parses? I got you, bud.
I think you actually get us invalidated if you do that.
Oh no.
So a few days ago, we heard some news about Microsoft, and Microsoft owns WoW now. So we're gonna talk about this real quick. The poll question asks, do the leadership changes at Microsoft affect your confidence in WoW? We've got about 32% of people saying not really, and 32% of people saying a little bit. I'll go first. I don't care. That's not to say that things won't affect us. That's not to say that this isn't a big deal, but I'm not going to pretend like I have any idea what I'm talking about in relation to executive changes and so on and so forth. For those that don't know, we had Phil Spencer. I guess I should pull this up real quick. Hold on, real quick. But we had Phil Spencer resign, and we had a young lady step in who is coming from another company that I guess focuses on AI a bunch, and there's been a lot of uproar and a lot of talk about it. Please,
it was the president of Microsoft's AI division, which for me is absolutely fucking terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just feels like with an outward perspective, what we've gotten, it just feels like it was likely that Phil Spencer and the leads of the gaming division were trying to stop AI from pushing over everything that they do. Two of them resigned, not just Phil Spencer's. Another lead did as well.
Was it Sarah Bond? Is that her name?
Yes, and they were replaced with the lead of the AI division, who is now on Twitter using AI posts to pretend that they game. They have zero gaming background. They never have.
It's fine.
Don't think this will affect us in the short term.
Fine. Don't worry about it.
Outside of just World of Warcraft, like this is horrifying. I am afraid. That's where I'm at.
It's definitely something I think to be aware of, but I don't know. I just try and stay in my lane. I can't worry about everything.
That's kind of my thinking too. And again, I'm by no means am I trying to be an apologist or whatever. That is not the case. But like, what is so Shadarek? What is like the worst case? I mean, I guess the worst case scenario is AI everywhere. But like, what do you think is a realistic worst case scenario with this kind of change?
Realistically, I could see just a lot of people getting cut from the company and a lot of the busy work being replaced with AI.
I can appreciate
that. Quality is just going to go down. You're going to get a lot less perspectives of. You know who ends up getting cut too is the ones that cost the most money, the people that have experience. So just no matter what, I am afraid because it's not someone in a gaming background doing this. It is now someone in an AI background, and that means this is almost entirely profits driven. And that is, no matter what, nothing you want to hear for any game you play.
I mean, do you think that there's a real risk of WoW getting, kind of kicked in the nether region because of this change at some point down the road?
I think so. I think and again, really just not only WoW. Microsoft is a very large portion of all games like being made right now. Horrible sign of what's to come.
Well, we're just seeing it spread everywhere, right? So it's something I think that's just a worry for everybody in general, no matter what it is. Like I feel like that's just even when branching out of gaming, right? Like I think it's still like it's something that definitely I think you should be aware of for sure.
Yeah,
it's hard to like stress about it all the time, though. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, I don't like it. I don't like AI being in everything, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, what can we do?
That's exactly where I was going, or where my head goes is. I don't want AI and everything. I can't imagine many people do, but like, They say speak with your wallet, and I agree with that. But we're all going to keep playing WoW. So like, what exactly? Can we write a stern letter? Like, what is that going to accomplish? I'm talking in circles, basically. I don't even know what the right answer is. I got nothing. I don't know, man.
I think it's important not to doom, but I think it's important to be stern with how you feel about things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's a fine line between giving good feedback and actually talking about things for sure.
Right, but how do we be stern in this case? Like, if we don't like it, we're not going to quit WoW over it in almost all cases, right? So how do we be stern? Like, what kind of message do we send?
That's true.
What's true?
That's a hard one.
This is not a gotcha moment, to be clear. I'm not trying to.
No, yeah,
I'm not trying to be clever.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it is a hard thing to try and figure out. I don't think anybody has the exact answer to that thing. I think it's something that the community as a whole needs to probably just make sure that they're actively talking about that as frequently as they can. It seems like Blizzard does want to listen to that, but who knows what that'll actually do, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's part of why I feel afraid of it too, is because it's not something I'm just gonna step away from.
Right.
So
exactly,
yeah.
No matter what, it's like if it affects it extremely negatively, that's going to impact me extremely negatively.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm just going to unsub and stop playing WoW. Is pretty much everything I do is baked around it. So it's just concerning.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
It's
Like,
also something that we might not know the impact of for an extended period of time, right? Like, this is something that
years. Yeah.
There's AI. There's AI
years.
being used for movies that we probably won't even know for the next 10 years or whatever. That's like, oh yeah, there's the next Star Wars was half made by AI or something. It's like, okay, who knows anymore, man? Like, I feel like it's just ingrained in everything at this point. It's horrific. As a graphic designer and somebody who deals with art a lot, like, it's terrifying, man. Like, yeah, that whole system is super scary.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because again, I guess I'm just repeating myself. I don't really know what to do, and so it that makes me not care as much as maybe I should. But then, I'm not gonna quit WoW over it today because of it. 2, 5, however many years down the road, if the game's full of AI slop, as a lot of people call it, then that's a different story. But yeah, I absolutely hear where you're coming from, Shadarek, in that regard, because it can be concerning, alarming, however you want to phrase it. I don't know. I don't know if there's more to really say about that situation right now. Harrek, did you have an opinion on this at all?
Well, mainly that, as you said, it's like just happened, and I think there's enough levels of separations between like someone very high at Microsoft and World of Warcraft, like the game itself, to be worried. Like as a casual player right now, probably not, but the future doesn't look great about it. But yeah, one thing I actually tell people really often is that if you do not like the game, you should not be playing it. That doesn't apply to us because but
agree with that very
for someone like that is just enjoying it casually and it's just a fun time. If it gets to the point where that gets bad, you should absolutely totally still playing, but don't like rush either, right? We don't know what might happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we're gonna transition to this last portion of the show right here, and again, I'm feeling a little bit I don't know what I'm feeling like. I've gone through 16 episodes of the podcast over these last few months, and I really appreciate the three of you guys sitting down. I appreciate all of you guys tuning in live, and anyone who's watching this on YouTube or listening on Spotify in the weeks to come. Thank you guys for being here. But the final poll question of the season asks, 6 months from now, what do you most hope Midnight is known for? And 40% of people said a strong seasonal cadence. I agree with that. I want to hear what you guys think. Who wants to take this one? What do you want? What do you hope Midnight is known for? Systems depth, memorable story, healthy community, strong seasonal cadence.
Can I go outside of those responses?
Absolutely.
I hope Midnight is known for proving the community wrong. Everyone was absolutely against pruning of systems, pruning of add-ons, access to what we have. And I hope that in 6 months they can have figured it out, because right now I think they're doing an actual very good job, a lot better than almost anybody reasonably expected. It's not good enough, but a very good job. I don't know why they jumped into this as fast as they did, because they said they weren't going to do it. That was a really bad decision, but I hope that in 6 months' time they can prove us wrong and show that this works.
I agree. I think that's something really that would be better for the game as a whole too, right? Like, I think that's the thing that's a little scary right now is like a lot of the changes they're making are to better prepare the game for the future, right? Like, I think Blizzard does want to listen to that, but who knows what that'll actually do, you know? Yeah, I agree. I think that's the thing that's a little scary right now is like a lot of the changes they're making are to better prepare the game for the future, right? Like, I think Blizzard does want to listen to that, but who knows what that'll actually do, you know? having more of these systems baked into the default game and then having more access to being able to control those things in a little bit ways with add-ons is probably the better direction. So it's one of those things where it's like they had to do it at some point. I guess this is the time to do it. But yeah, I think they should have maybe taken their time a little bit more with some of these things and then slowly rolled out these changes over the course of the expansion instead of just being like all in at the very beginning. But it's one of those things. I guess I do agree. I hope that we do see something like that.
The rebuttal to that's I forget who said it on the one of the episodes in the past is if Blizzard did that, then it's a matter of, will add-on authors even keep up with their add-ons, knowing that, in a patch or two that they're getting the axe and whatnot. Man, I wish I could remember who said it. That way I could timestamp it and put it in the description below. But whoever said it did a really good job explaining why that is likely the reason Blizzard didn't go down that route.
Well, I think what's interesting what happened with that is actually what we're seeing now, where a lot of people that had weak auras just pivoted and made their own add-on, or like Harrek's made their own add-on for their own thing, which I think sometimes that stuff breeds more creativity, right? Like some people may have never gone down a route of making an add-on for themselves. Like it's a bummer that some of these are being made out of necessity. I think that's not good, but it's nice to see more people stepping up to do more things and create more things. I think that's actually really cool to see.
So I really like that it shows that Blizzard is willing to do big changes when they think it's going to improve the game. Because after all these years and like this common thing that we got a new season with a new raid, and then we season with a new raid, and keep going, and it was working. So it's kind of easy to like just feel safe and keep doing the same thing. But this shows that they're willing to recognize when they think there's a problem and do big things to change it and try to solve it, right? So that's kind of looks very good for the future, right? Because now you know that they're willing to go there to fix the stuff that seems bad and not just stay safe.
I totally agree. I totally agree with that. I've always said I'd rather Blizzard swing for the fences and miss half the time than to never swing for the fences. Because when they knock it out of the park, man, God, it's fun, right? I mean, that's the ultimate purpose. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to be engaging. And yeah, it kind of sucks when they drop the ball, half the time. But I'll take a 50% success rate over a 0% success rate if that translates appropriately.
They've also had a very consistent cadence of the beginning of an expansion is a little rough and the end of it's really good, right? That happens. Like most of the expansions everybody remembers, like Legion and BFA and stuff. They remember the end of that expansion. They remember the corruption. They remember how like Legendary Acquisition was at the end of Legion. It's the beginning of the expansions like Shadowlands that people just despise, right? But the end of Shadowlands is actually really fun, and I think people just completely miss out on the system. So it'd be nice if that shifted to the beginning of expansion and the end of expansion was good too, right? But I feel like we'll see how that goes. So I guess that's the other thing is hopefully Midnight goes into the beginning of it was actually really fun too, right? Because I feel like that's something we haven't had. I mean, War Within wasn't terrible. It didn't have these like miserable systems, I think, at the beginning where people are like hating everything. But that's something I think that gets forgotten about a lot with expansion releases is that the end is remembered, the beginning is.
I was playing Warlock for first season of Legion, and my first two legendaries. Let me be clear. My first two legendaries at the very, very, very beginning of Legion. So this is pre-buff. Were Sephuz and Prides. Was not fun.
I quit mage after like 13 years as a mage main because my first 4 legendaries were unplayable. So I get it, and I just switched to healer. So I definitely understand it. Yeah.
That said, I love Legion legendaries. I'm very unapologetic about that. Hey, speaking of swinging for the fences, by the way, how about that Liadrin animation that came out this past week, dude? How awesome
those animations are really cool.
Holy
I want a show. I want a full show of that.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be so dope. I don't even watch that kind of content, but it would be super sick.
I actually haven't seen it yet because I've been so busy. So let's keep it busy.
I've been
busy, man. Those guys are right.
All right, listen, you need to go watch it right after the podcast here in a few minutes. That's crazy.
And just so go watch all of them. There's like another one from War Within too with Lyria, I think too.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah,
it's like a similar
definitely need to catch up. Definitely need to catch up.
Yep.
What do you guys think about? I think it was a week and a half ago. It was discovered that there's an Endeavor quest that's going to award crests and stuff like that. And there was a little bit of an uproar, and now there's another quest that's been discovered that it's another Endeavor quest. Am I correct in that, Shadarek? Is that right? You know anything about it?
I don't know about there being 2, but yeah, I know there was the one where it was just having a full party of people in your house, and then you'd get rewarded. I don't know. I saw a lot of negative comments on this from people that I believe are just trying to piss people off because it's giving you up to heroic track crests, you get those from open world content too. So anyone complaining about it, frankly, shut up. Also, like it goes towards your cap. It's not they're not tying player power to housing. You just get.
It's just another avenue to do that for people who want to not
and like this is player power you're given for playing the game and interacting with the game. Period.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you weaker for not interacting with housing. It's you can get it this way instead of going and doing delves by yourself. Like I don't.
What's
I don't see any issue with it at all.
Yeah. What's
Void Light?
Another hot take?
Sure, please.
Okay, I think it is very good for the game when you have to do a little bit of the content you hate to get player power.
Whoa. Get
Listen to
that
me,
crap
listen,
out of here. I don't want to do PvP.
I don't know about that.
That's a horrible
Am I
thing.
gonna be forced to PvP again, man? Like in
I
Shadowlands, I
am
fill my
going
vault.
to go in to say that PvP and at the start of Shadowlands to get you for raid was good. But hear me out.
Oh no!
I
I had to do
think-
I will not
RPGs
hear
for like
you out.
3 weeks.
I refuse.
Listen, I think there's a lot of people out there that are just used to not doing those types of content, and if you push them just a little bit, they will find that they really enjoy it. There's a balance there. It has to be really early so people that just hate it can get the reward and get out quick. But it has to be a little bit so that you're gonna I have to do this because it's for my raid, and then you actually enjoy it and you go that way. And Blizzard is kind of showing you the content by using content that they know you already like, right? So
Right.
I think that's good. I think that's healthy. But obviously, like if you have to just get Gladiator in order to raid, that's bad. Right? This is a balance. But I just think that having a little bit is good.
I'm
I
editing.
can definitely agree. There's levels to it. There's definitely levels of how much of that content you have to interact with before it's a problem.
I'm editing this part of the show out. You're insane. You're absolutely insane.
Perfect.
What's that is a hot take in all fairness. I mean, hey, I can agree with like I don't mind engaging with the endeavors because I don't mind. I mean, maybe some people do, but I guess you and I are on the same page, Arsyn. I hate having to do mandatory PvP. I just don't like WoW PvP at all.
I feel forced to raid. I just want to do keys. I feel like I have to raid.
Yeah.
I actually joined a CE raiding guild for like the first time since like forever because I didn't really care about. I've raided like Mythic raid a little bit, and I was like, that's fine.
Right.
I just want to do Mythic Plus, but I'm absolutely forced to Mythic raid if I want to actually push keys, and that's become even more problematic now with just how powerful trinkets are. Right, like most dungeon trinkets aren't that competitive to raid trinkets, and most of these items are. You can probably push really high without them, but at a certain point, it becomes definitely required, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In which I find that a little difficult.
What's Void Light Marl for in Midnight? It's a currency, right?
That I don't know, but looking at what you pulled up on stream, I suspect that's the same as what do we have? This expansion resonance crystals, the stuff to buy like random mounts and stuff off vendors.
It's resin. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's void touched augment runes. You can never go wrong with having more augment runes if that's what you select.
I believe that's the only way to get them too.
Is it what?
Oh, interesting.
You can't like
But,
Q
like-
form or get them in LFR or anything like that.
That's great, actually.
Um,
I
That's
think
sad,
every
like-
World raid should be doing housing to get their runes. That will be
This just
Just
great.
means that
print
many
it.
more people are going to be putting them on the auction house for us raiders. So let's be happy about that.
Right.
Yay! Oh my goodness, man. What about God? I keep going to you, Shadarek, just because you seem to be a really smart guy who's got his finger on the pulse. But did you hear about the Voidforge? I think it was data mined. Is that correct?
That I didn't hear anything about actually.
Yeah, so
Doesn't
I
sound
haven't pulled up. It's a possible turbo boost like mechanic for Midnight Season 1. I have it. Anything you see me pulling up on the stream, by the way, I'll link the Wowhead article in the YouTube description. But it might be a turbo boost thing. Again, I'm just looking at the Wowhead article right here. But do you guys have any issues with turbo boost? I mean, I know we have it right or had it right now at the end of the last season of The War Within. But
Personally, I really hate turbo boost. And it's weird because I like having like an extended way to increase your power throughout the season, but I hate turbo boost because you gear through the regular part of the season. 0.5 patch comes, you have to re-gear. Also, if you play any alts at that point, it takes that much longer to gear them up. Feels awful. Maybe this is a new system kind of circumventing that, where it's not, hey, grind even more crests, idiot. But I despise it. And genuinely, I would be happiest if they brought back Titan Forging and AP. I know that's a hot take.
Definitely not Titan Forging. My God.
I think THD sees it that way too, doesn't he? THD is very pro TF.
I stand with THD.
I think Turbo Boost is very interesting. I think it's fun and gives you something to do halfway through the season. At least Mythic Plus, it brings, I think, and sometimes it brings people back to actually do keys again, but other times it, like, I feel like in season 4 or season 3 of this season, it didn't really do a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole token system that comes with Turbo Boost is usually more like uh interesting for the player base, but I definitely think it's another system that has a lot of iterations to still go. Like, I think we've seen, this is like the third time we've seen a system similar to Turbo Boost happen in these seasons, and I still think there's definitely room to go. Like, I agree with not necessarily being forced to grind a bunch of crests again, but I think it's fun to have something happen in the middle of a season to make you want to do things again. Because I think what happens is people just get content with not doing anything or just logging in to do raid and re-clear raid again for the next, like, 10th time or something like that. So I think it's fun in terms of, like, it gives you another, like, bracket to keep pushing more keys, but I don't know. We'll see.
That's why, personally, for me, I'd like something that's continuous throughout the season, and that's why, again, I started in BFA. I only interacted with this in BFA and only the early seasons. I liked War Forging and Titan Forging because I could just run keys and I could get an upgrade. I'm probably not going to, but I could. I continued to get AP throughout and get slightly stronger. And then that just got removed from the game. And now it's like, if I go queue up a key right now, there's 250 gold at the end.
Yeah, I think the rewards for keys is actually more of the conversation there for sure. Like, AP and that kind of stuff is definitely something that would be interesting to see, a system that allows you to continuously get powerful throughout the season. But I think the problem that can happen quickly is then people feel like they're behind if they don't grind, right? So you have to find that balance between how much can I grind it and how much can I not grind it, and then how far am I behind? Because then you just end up at Shadowlands again.
And I felt like they had a good system for that, though, because every week it was all the upgrades got multiplicatively cheaper. So you could get, like 5-6 levels ahead by doing disgusting amounts of grinding, but your work that you did is invalidated 30% every week over week. But someone that's actively playing the game more than someone else is just going to consistently be at a higher level. And, like, to me, for someone that likes playing the game a lot and likes playing one character, that felt good. But now it's just, there's nothing. If you main something, it's better for you to just re-roll to something that's better, hypothetically. If you could play it the same, gearing up takes just a little bit of time. You just get crests, you're good to go. But the other issue that I have with Turbo is all content that you do before Turbo for Mythic Plus is invalidated. It's instantly invalidated.
I mean, I don't know if I'd say invalidated, but I can understand the concept. Like, yeah, your score is not as valuable as it could, like, as it was, because now it's easier to push those keys. But I think your knowledge of the keys and the time you spent on the keys is still valuable in terms of pushing those keys even higher. Like, yes, your gear's easier.
You need to go repush after Turbo. No matter what.
1,000%, yeah.
And I think, like, so what, man? I like running Mythic Plus.
Yeah, for me, what I'm saying is, as somebody who usually just all I do all day is plug keys and just as many keys as I can, like, there is, in the middle of the season, most of the time, keys just fall off. Like, even people are pushing super high, keys just fall off. So I think it's interesting to try and have something to bring people to keep doing keys throughout the season. I don't know if Turbo Boost is the correct answer to that, but I think it's an answer that does need to happen of continuously even wanting to do keys. Like, I think that it does. I think the season gets hurt heavily eventually. Like, at the beginning, everybody's running keys. Raiders are running keys. People who actually want to do keys are doing keys. But then halfway through, most people stop doing their keys and just do raid. And then people who are pushing keys either stop pushing keys once they get to a certain point, or, somewhere in between. So I definitely think something's to happen with that, but I don't know if Turbo Boost is the correct answer at all. I just
know with a lot of the people that I play with, and I spend a lot of time playing with groups as well. When Turbo is on the horizon, we're 6-8 weeks out. Everyone goes, "I'm not doing keys. I'm gonna do something else. Like, we'll do keys after." I think that's part of the slump.
I feel like that kind of thing, though, I feel like you could make that same argument for, like, anything. It's like, oh, I might as well just do keys at the very end of the season anyways then. Like, I'll just do beta keys, learn all the information, and then I'll just come back at the very end and then just get all my gear, and then I don't have to care what caps removed. I'll just do all my, like, I feel like the same argument can happen. So I think, like, there's definitely an answer in between there somewhere for sure.
What were we going to say here?
One big issue with Turbo Boost that I have seen happen to a lot of my friends is that, okay, let's say someone that doesn't spend a lot of time playing, but they want to do Mythic Plus, right? They maybe want to push for title for the first time or whatever. So they come back and Turbo Boost was like 2 weeks ago, and they check out what's the best spec and everything, and then they check out how many homework keys that they need to do to farm all the crests to actually get the year to the level where they can start actually pushing. And it's like, okay, I need to do like 65 keys before I can start actually and they just log off. Which is bad, right? Like, it shouldn't be harder to reroll at the end of the season.
definitely can agree. It'd be nice if we could. I mean, I'm sitting on like 2,000 Gilded Crests right now that I have nothing to do with. Like,
Good
it'd be
Lord,
nice if we
man.
could even do something with those, man. Like, what are you supposed to do? They don't even convert to anything. I'm just sitting on them. You know what I mean? So like that would, I think that would also go into that same thing as like a way to help boost the other characters or something like that for sure.
Sir, they convert into heroic crests. All right.
Oh, okay, yeah. And then can I convert those into what?
Veteran and the champion and then veteran? Is that what it is? Did I talk about this last poll question? I don't remember if I did. 6 months from now, what do you hope Midnight is known for? Did I skip this?
Yeah.
We did?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
Yeah, that was the one where I said hoping the community was proven wrong.
I'll edit that out. Don't worry about that. Guys, it has been 2 hours. Season 1 is wrapped. We're going to get you out of here. I cannot... Hey, sit back down. Where are you going? I didn't mean it that way. Thank you guys so much for being here. It is... I love...
That's a big cat.
That dude, that is a big cat. Good. What's his or her name?
This is Salazar. He is a Maine Coon.
That is a beautiful cat. Holy moly.
Yeah.
Bean's asleep. I'm not gonna scoop her up. She's gonna be so sad.
Bean.
she's completely asleep.
Number one, I love your cats, and number two, I love the fact that you guys carved some time out of your weekend to sit down with me, and to sit down with the Twitch and YouTube here. Thank you guys who watched this live. I appreciate it. Absolutely phenomenal job with your interaction and offering up opinions and whatnot in Twitch and YouTube chat. We're gonna get out of here. But before we do, I want each one of you guys to go around the table, tell everyone where they can find you, what you're going to be doing these next couple of weeks when Midnight launches, and answer the question, when Midnight does launch this week, what do you hope this community, and when I say this community, I mean all of us, what do you hope we get out of it? What do you hope people feel? And Arsyn, we're going to start with you.
Okay. You can find me over at twitch.tv/Arsyn. We just hang out and do affliction keys and kind of just hang out and do housing stuff. And Bean, everybody usually just hangs out for Bean, so I understand. I'm just kind of there facilitating that. And we're just gonna be leveling, man, and having a good time. I'm probably still gonna do some housing stuff because I have a good time with that and farming housing and leveling that kind of stuff up. And I'm leveling an Affliction Warlock, and then I'm still gonna play Unholy DK as well, I think, and maybe get some other stuff ready. But I've been having a good time with Unholy DK too, so I've been playing that. And then I don't know, man. I'm very excited for season 1 to start. So everything for me kind of starts then. Like that's when I'll release my guide for Affliction Warlock on Mythic Plus. And that's when I'll start, actually grinding keys again. So that's what I'm very excited for, man. I'm very much looking forward to that. And as far as what the community gains and where we all stand, I just hope people chill out with the add-on thing and just enjoy the game. Like I feel like the number one thing I say all the time is like, just play what you want. You pay your own monthly subscription, man. Play what you want, dude. Like I realize that that's usually like a hot take because you're playing with other people, and I think that's important too. Like obviously you're still playing with other people, but I think there is a balance there where the community can like enjoy the game and people can play what they want, man. I don't know. I think there's definitely something there. So
awesome,
hopefully people stop crashing out and dooming about everything. We just have a good time.
I think once the game launches in a few days, we're all going to be just happy as a bunch of little clams, just hanging out and having fun and going for it. So I think a lot of the discourse will probably die down for a week or two, and then it'll come back full swing. But we'll see. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome, man. It was truly wonderful to meet you and all of you guys today. Shadarek, I pronounced your name correctly, right?
Shadarek.
God damn it! How many times have I mispronounced it today? Like 3-4 times?
Only twice, I think.
The whole time.
All right.
You've never gotten it right once, man.
Oh, man. All right. Well, you tell people where he can be found and what's going on this week for you. And then again, like, what do you hope the community feels? What do you hope they get out of this experience these next few weeks?
Okay. So for me, you can find me on Wowhead for my Havoc Demon Hunter written guide. You can find me at youtube.com/Shadarek for all of my video guides and Havoc Demon Hunter news, some different YouTube, just regular WoW news, stuff like that. And twitch.tv/Shadarek for my live streams. Probably going to be leveling multiple Demon Hunters. Sometimes I do a couple beta keys till I get bored, or a few live keys till I get bored right now. But not much going on in the WoW space. Maybe a little bit of TBC because I've been trying that out and getting to climb groups as a rogue. So, but yeah, I just hope everyone enjoys going into this expansion as much as I know I will. And just, I'm hoping people look at it from a perspective of trying to enjoy it instead of just looking for all the faults.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate
the community as a whole.
Heck yeah, dude. I appreciate your time today.
Shadarek, is that right?
Yeah.
I knew I'm back, baby. I'm back. No, for real. Thank you so much for being here today, man. And it was lovely to meet you as well. I genuinely love connecting with people in this community and just being able to hang out and talk about something we all love. So thank you. Harrek, did I pronounce your name correctly? It's Harrek, right?
Yeah, it's Harrek.
Thank God, man. I just wanted to make sure I got at least one right. Thank you for being here today, man. Thank you for speaking up for the healers. Let people know what's going on with you this week as we go into midnight launch. Where can people find you online? And again, what do you hope this community feels and experiences these next few weeks?
Okay, so you can find my videos on my YouTube, Harrek's. My guides, you can check my Restoration Shaman guide on Wowhead, and my other guides in Spiritbound Pro, which is my website. If you want to ask me something at how, I am in literally all of the healer Discord, so you can ping me for literally anything because I love hearing from people. And you are probably gonna see me raiding with Brutall this season, which is very exciting.
Yeah, man. Why don't you stream on Twitch? I think you'd be an awesome streamer on Twitch.
I think I have a bad personality to entertain people, but we'll see.
I disagree. I think people would gravitate to you because you're so good and you're so helpful.
Okay.
Oh, wait, did you answer the question? What do you hope the community gets out of this these first few weeks of midnight?
I hope the community just feels great. Like every expansion launch is just a great time and a very fun time. I hope everyone enjoys it a lot. And when content starts getting there, I hope everyone has a super good time because WoW is just a great time.
Heck yeah, man. Well, I'll be talking about season 2 in the little after shot that I do. I'm gonna let these guys get out of here. That way I don't talk and drone on for the next 5 minutes. So thank you guys for being here. Season 1, we are done. 16 episodes down. You guys were an amazing capstone to that season. So thank you. And I'll see you in a couple weeks for season 2, everyone. And there you have it. Season 1 is done. Brutally Honest, the WoW podcast season 1. That is a wrap, baby. I had a ton of fun with those guys, as I'm sure you could tell. And thank you again to my 3 guests, Arsyn, Shadarek, and Harrek. I messed up Shadarek. You saw a minute ago. I messed up his name a handful of times in the episode. I'm a stickler for getting people's names right, so it bugs me. It irks me when I mess something up. But I think I got it now. Shadarek. I think I do. Season 2 will be starting in mid-March. We'll be trimming guests down from 3 to 2. We'll be making things as personable as possible. And might be doing some mini episodes between the weekly episodes. But I've got a lot of fun plans, a lot of good ideas. But if you want to see something specific in relation to the podcast, a change, an improvement, man, please leave that comment below. I am a big fan of and a big believer in listening to people and taking feedback and running with it and whatnot. So if you think there's a way to make the stream or the podcast so much better, please let me know. Let me know, please. My name's Brutall. Midnight is launching in a few days, early access that is. You're gonna see me live on YouTube. You'll see me live on Twitch. I'll be playing my hunter. Pretty sure I've talked about all this, ad nauseum for weeks and weeks and weeks now. But come hang out. I want to hang out with you guys. I like making friends, so come hang out with me. I will see you throughout the week, and I will definitely see you at early access and beyond. And I'm excited, man. Hope you are too. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. My name's Brutall. Get out of here. I'll see you in midnight.